Good evening. If we can all, would like to call this meeting to order. Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Joseph,
Here.
Commissioner Lama,
Here.
Commissioner Stuyvesant, Vice Mayor Viscara,
Here.
Mayor Goldman,
Here.
all members present, ma'am.
Pledge of Allegiance. Felix Kisner, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes. Can we have a motion?
Motion?
So moved. Second, Commissioner Stuyvesant. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you for being here tonight. Please turn off or mute any electronic devices to avoid interrupting these proceedings. In all issues that may come before the City Commission, we ask that everyone show mutual respect for one another by listening quietly to each person speaking, and that everyone refrain from any clapping, heckling, or verbal outbursts in favor or in opposition to a speaker. Individuals that do not adhere to Chapter 74 Rules of Procedure of the Code, particularly Section 74-21 Decorum, shall be barred from further appearance before the Commission. Individuals who want to speak on any item on the agenda are asked to fill out a public speaker's card and give it to the city clerk before the item is called. Speakers are asked to speak to the issues, make comments concise and to the point, and refrain from making any duplicate comments. All speakers will be limited to one 3-minute comment per item. If you exceed the 3-minute allotment, the chair will advise you to finish your comment. If you speak out of turn without permission from the chair and/or you don't cease speaking after one warning, you will be escorted out of the chambers. But first, we do have the invocation. So, Rabbi Barron. Rabbi
you.
Barron from the Chabad of Sunny Isles Beach. Thank you very
Thank you.
much for
Thank you.
for our
It's wonderful
invocation.
to be here. Dear God, Master of the universe, we stand humbled before you this evening as we recognize all of your blessings that you have bestowed upon us, collectively as a community and individually as private citizens. We recognize the blessings of living in a democratic country, and we do not take this for granted. We're mindful of the fact that you have blessed this city with wonderful leadership, direction, dedication, guiding spirit, which has resulted in many successful achievements over the last 25 years here in Sunny Isles Beach, and we praise you for this. We recognize that we are gathered before you this evening in pursuit of fulfilling your wishes. As you, dear God, empowered humanity with the 7 basic universal laws after the great flood of Noah. These laws are once again reaffirmed by Moses at Mount Sinai to be taught to all of humanity. Universal laws that provide a framework of law, order, and justice, which will allow humanity to settle the earth in a civilized manner. We recognize that we have been entrusted by the citizens of Sunny Isles Beach to perform this sacred duty. We recognize that our decisions will have a lasting impact far into the future. We therefore, Almighty God, please provide us with the consciousness to constantly be aware of your presence so that we are consistent to our mandate. Please grant us the wisdom, intuition, and sensitivity to succeed so that we leave a legacy of having a positive impact upon society for many generations to come. Please guide our police department and city staff to make the right decisions with honesty, integrity, and knowledge for all citizens into the future. May they continue to serve as positive role models for our beautiful community. Almighty God, in these times we do not take our safety and security for granted. Protect our police force, our servicemen and women serving domestically and overseas in the name of freedom and democracy. Please give them the peace of mind, insight, and intuition to be successful. May everyone gathered here tonight and all the residents of Sunny Isles Beach be granted with good health, peace of mind, and prosperity. And let us say amen.
Amen.
And as Hanukkah begins this Sunday night, I also want to wish everyone a happy Hanukkah. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone here on Monday at 5 p.m. for the City Hall menorah lighting.
Thank you, Rabbi Barron.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, there are a few changes to tonight's agenda as follows. Add-on, item 5B, presentation by the MAPSAC. Item 10H, resolution approving Third Amendment with Granicus. Item 10I, resolution authorizing purchase of janitorial supplies. Item 10J, resolution urging Florida Legislature to support Florida League of Cities legislative platform. And additional information, item 7A, ordinance approving budget amendment. Do I hear a motion to approve these changes? So moved. Commissioner Lama, second. Vice Mayor Viscara, all in favor? Aye. Okay, special presentations, the 2023 photo contest winners.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commission. Each year, the City of Sunny Isles Beach holds a photo contest asking residents and visitors to submit their best photos showcasing the beauty of Sunny Isles Beach. 17 photos by 14 photographers were selected this year and are featured in our 2023 desktop calendar. We have some extremely talented photographers living here in the city, and we received many beautiful submissions. While not all of them can be featured in our calendar, many you will see throughout the upcoming year on our website, our publications, and on our social media pages. I would also like to recognize Dora Mendez, our graphic designer who designs our desktop calendar and all of our publications and graphics. She always does a fantastic job designing and putting together our calendar, and this year is no exception. So as I call each winner's name, please come up to the front for your award and stay here so we can all take a photo. Our cover photo is by Johan Andres Alzate Torres. Johan is from Colombia and has been living in the United States for 3 years. His dream was to study photography, and since moving to the U.S., he has been able to do so, graduating as a photographer just 1 month ago. Our introduction page is Moses Fan. Moses is a professional photographer who has been a resident for 10 years. January is Matt Porperato. Matt has been a resident for 4 years and loves the city of Sunny Isles Beach. Architecture and nature are his favorite things to photograph. February is by Anthony Broca. Anthony was born and raised in Peru and is a photographer. He was born to explore, have adventures, and watch sunsets. March is another photo by Johan Andres Alzate Torres. April is by Luz Zoreda Liacos. Luz is a proud resident since 2012 and finds Sunny Isles Beach to be an ideal place to capture beautiful photos. May is another photo by Matt Porperato. June is by Rebecca Mullen. Rebecca works for our Code Compliance Department since 2019 and has since fallen in love with the captivating views and community that is Sunny Isles Beach. July is another photo by Moses Span. August is by Farid Alvarez. Born in Colombia and raised in Miami, Farid is an airplane parts inspector who has worked for Boeing for 10 years. He enjoys photography as his second job. If you could stay up here, we're going to take a photo afterwards. Thanks. September is Amir Alkadesh. October is by Ricardo Tomasoni. Ricardo moved from Brazil to Sunny Isles Beach in 2000, and you will often see him around the city with a camera, photographing the beauty of Sunny Isles Beach and the people who live here. November is Giovanni Galvis. Giovanni is a digital marketer who has been a Sunny Isles Beach resident for 7 years. He has a wife and 2 wonderful sons. December is by David Vergel. David has lived in Sunny Isles Beach for 15 years and enjoys taking photos as a hobby. The photography page is by Colvis. Okay, Giovanni Colvis. The photography page is by Christina Pereira. Christina is a resident who moved here from South America. She is a pilot and loves to do photography in her free time. The Connect With Us page is by Luis Eduardo Martinez Mejia. Luis was born in Bogota, where he studied photography. He is currently dedicated to painting and his photography. And our last page is by Raisa Brito. Born in Cuba, Raisa is a wife and mother who has been a cosmetologist for 38 years. She has a passion for photography and loves to capture priceless moments. Mayor and Commission, if you would come down and we can take a photo.
Push the chairs in because when you take the picture.
And when everyone leaves tonight, you can take a free calendar in the back of the room, and you can also pick them up at all of our city facilities. We have one more award to present tonight. This year we are presenting a Lifetime Achievement Award honoring a special resident artist, Mikola Kodorovsky, who passed away in October of this year. Mikola's artistic contributions to our city have been many. He has been featured in our photo contest desktop calendar more than any other photographer. You have probably seen his beautiful photographs on the city's publications, website, and social media many times. He also donated his framed photography and paintings to the city and our police department. His generosity in sharing his talents with our city have been greatly appreciated by all of us for many years. We would like to present Mikola's wife, Ludmila, who is here with us tonight, with a special award and gift in honor of Mikola's artistic contributions to our city's image and culture over the years.
Go.
Okay, we're moving to zoning.
No, Mayor, we have 5B.
5B?
Yeah,
Where's, oh, the add-on.
the add-on.
Ah, the MAPSAC. Pedestrian safety recommendation. Presented by the Mobility and Pedestrian Safety Advisory Committee. Chair, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Pavel Stoyev. I'm the Chair of the Mobility and Pedestrian Safety Committee. For the benefit of the public here, I'd like to reinstate that the committee was formed through a formal application and review process, and that our purpose and mission are to promote traffic safety in a beautiful city, as well as pedestrian safety, and to generate and discuss ideas for improving traffic flow in the city of Sunny Isles Beach. We are volunteers contributing our time, contributing our efforts and minds to this very important initiative. The MAPSAC committee, over the past few meetings, discussed the upcoming changes at the SIB major intersections concerning the protection of pedestrians crossing from turning vehicles. And we would like to highlight the importance of automated enforcement using cameras and or other equipment possible in addition to establishing this protection. There is significant evidence to support the idea that automated enforcement using traffic cameras that capture turn violation lead to safer crossings for pedestrians. In the memo that we've provided, there are several studies. I'm just going to highlight a few numbers. The American Journal of Public Health found that the presence of red light cameras lead to a reduction, 21% reduction in pedestrian fatalities and 14% reduction in pedestrian injuries. And this was from the data collected from 14 cities across the United States. Journal of Transport and Health, doing a study of over 200 intersections in the city of Chicago, found that these kind of automated enforcement cameras lead to 25% reduction in the number of crashes involving a pedestrian. And lastly, the American Journal of Public Health, doing a study on red light violations, found that red light violations decreased by up to 90%, and the number of crashes at intersections decreased by up to 30% in the presence of these automated enforcement cameras. So there is significant evidence from formal studies, but also there's support in this kind of experience by the residents of our neighboring city, the city of Aventura. They've been very supportive in the red light cameras installed in their city, and if you drive through the city of Aventura, you'll notice that everyone there is kind of a model driver, you know, very careful in approaching intersections, doing their proper red light stops and proceeding thereafter. And so I'm here presenting this memo. If you have any questions, please let us know. But before I conclude, I'd like to thank you for establishing the MAPSAC committee. I'd like to thank the city staff in facilitating our meetings and supporting us with all the information that we need to have to proceed. And lastly, I'd like to thank our MAPSAC committee members, Kenneth Percy, Anastasia Panfilova, Javiva Halpert, and Mariana Talalayevsky in contributing and working really hard. I know all of us are eager to continue in the coming year, and we look forward to volunteering and continuing with MAPSAC. Thank you.
Ready for our zoning portion?
Yes, ma'am.
Ladies and gentlemen, this evening's agenda has one zoning application. In these matters, the Commission sits in a quasi-judicial capacity. The decision of whether or not to approve a zoning variance is not a popularity contest, but must be based upon substantial, competent evidence as it is presented tonight. If you intend to provide testimony on any zoning application, you must be sworn in by the city clerk, and you should also fill out a public speaker's card and give it to the city clerk before the item is called. We will first hear from city staff and then from the applicant. After this, I will allow anyone from the audience who has been sworn in to provide testimony. The zoning applicant has the right to cross-examine any witness and for rebuttal. Please make your comments concisely. Mr. City Clerk, please read your introductory zoning statement.
In accordance with the LDRs of the City of Sunny Isles Beach, all items to be heard today have been legally advertised in the newspaper, notices have been mailed, and posted on the properties. All persons wishing to speak at this hearing, please raise your right arm to be sworn in. Do you swear that testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. So this is an application for a minor site plan modification for the property located at 100, 150, 200, and 300 Kings Point Drive, the project known as Marina Del Mar 2. I'm sorry, Amy, before we continue, are there any ex-party communications that need to be disclosed?
No.
Mayor?
Yes,
What are they?
just a
You have to
conversation.
we have to disclose who it was.
I asked questions of Rich Brock.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. This zoning hearing this evening is regarding a proposed site plan modifications to the Marina Del Mar project located at 100, 150, 200, and 300 Kings Point Drive. This is application PZ 2022-09. The Marina Del Mar project was approved in 2017 for the construction of 2 new apartment towers, a new parking garage, and remodeling of the existing apartment tower. The applicant is proposing 4 separate minor modifications, which I will walk through now. And the applicant will also provide a presentation with further explanation and will also be available for questions. First, the applicant is requesting to eliminate a cable railing system along the waterfronts of the property. The property has 2 water frontages at the north and south and is providing, there we go, the baywalks are highlighted on the screen. So the property has 2 water frontages and is providing public baywalks as highlighted along the water frontages. In the original site plan approval, there was a 4-foot cable railing proposed between the baywalk and the seawall, the detail of which is also shown on the screen. And the railing is not required by the zoning code or the building code. And so the applicant is requesting to eliminate the cable railing from the plans. Staff does not object to this modification as it is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan and the land development regulations. Second, the applicant is requesting to modify the entryway signage for the property. The entryway to the project is at the intersection of Kings Point Drive and Collins Avenue. The approved site plan showed 2 blue city monument signs on the north and south side of Kings Point Drive. The proposed modification is to install 1 city monument sign on the south side of Kings Point Drive and a development sign on the north side of Kings Point Drive. Staff does not object to this modification as it's consistent with the comprehensive plan and the city's land development regulations. The third request is to modify a condition of approval from 2017 with regards to the project's workforce housing. The project is required to provide 35 dedicated workforce housing units in the existing remodeled apartment building. Condition 22 of Resolution 17-Z-161 required the development to record a restrictive covenant with the number of units to be dedicated to the workforce housing program and their location. So the resulting restrictive covenant listed 35 specific unit numbers. The management company would like a little bit more flexibility with regards to leasing the units and would like to amend the covenant to remove the 35 specific unit numbers while maintaining the unit mix and maintaining that the units will be located on multiple floors. Staff does not object to this modification, subject to the condition that the applicant must record an amended covenant in a form acceptable to the city attorney. The final and fourth modification, the applicant is requesting to construct a residential marina with 18 slips. The property is zoned RMF-2 or medium high density residential, and marinas are a permitted accessory use in this zoning district to residential developments. Staff has no objection to the marina if the condition of approval applies operational limitations such as the following. Vessel movement is to be restricted to the hours between 6 a.m. and 12 a.m., but can be extended in cases of emergencies or weather events. No fueling or pump-out services are to be provided. There are no liveaboards allowed. Proof of residency within the Marina Del Mar development is required for leasing of a slip. Vessels within the marina cannot be rented to any individual for any amount of time or used for any commercial activity, including jet ski rentals. That the marina must be managed by a dock master. In working with the applicant and speaking with our legal department, it was determined that the condition that's listed in the staff report, providing for a restrictive covenant concerning the operational limitations I just described, is not necessary, as the city can enforce the limitations that I just described and conditions through the site plan approval and city's code. With that, the applicant is present. I am available for any questions during your discussion. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Commission. Neeson Kazan of Ackerman LLP, representing the applicant. We have a presentation, a brief presentation, if it could be put forward. Thank you. The planning director's report was very comprehensive and laid out all of the reasons for the changes that are being requested and how they fit well within the provisions of the city's code. But just to briefly repeat, next slide, please. The 4 changes are to eliminate the cable railing along the seawalls, to improve the entryway signage, to modify the workforce housing covenant to allow greater flexibility to evenly distribute the units throughout the building without any change to the number, quality, or type of units provided, and to construct a previously existing 18-slip residential marina restricted to use by upland owners only and subject to the other voluntarily proffered conditions as stated by the planning director this evening. Before I proceed with the rest of the presentation, I think it's important to note that the Brunetti family has owned this property for nearly 40 years. And this is a long-term hold. They have redeveloped the property, as you know, the existing building and building 2 new residential rental buildings. And so they are owners. They are not going to be building it, selling it, and leaving town. They're going to be operating it. And so they are more concerned than anyone that they have a quality property that attracts good tenants. We can go to the next slide, please. You see number 1 is eliminating the cable railings that were in the original approved plans. This shows the site behind the building today. Next slide, please. The improved signage, which I think the planning director has already explained to you. So if we go to the next slide, which also shows the signage as well. And then if we can go to the next slide, and I think the planning director again has succinctly explained the modification to the workforce housing covenant, so I won't take your time in going through that further at this moment. Next slide, please. The residential marina. As was mentioned, or as you may know, there has always been historically on this property an operating marina, which was destroyed during a hurricane, and now they are seeking to rebuild it. It is, of course, a permitted accessory use to a residential property. Next slide, please. And besides, if they didn't have a marina, they'd have to change it from Marina Del Mar to Del Mar. So they'd have to, I mean, that's one of the attractive things, is that it's a beautiful waterfront property. There you see where the marina will be located. Next slide, please. And then the next slide, this one, as you see, the use is permitted by right. Wet dockage of moorage or private non-commercial pleasure craft in connection with any residential use. And this is strictly limited to residential use. So the proposed marina is consistent with the definition and will serve as permitted by right accessory use to the upland property. Next slide. And again, I won't repeat everything that the planning director said, but this slide sets forth the conditions that we have agreed to and that have been as verbally stated this evening by the planning director. Next slide, please. As I think you are aware, that the city's scope of review is limited to the site plan review criteria. City staff has determined that all of the applicant's proposals, including the marina, are minor site plan modifications that are in compliance with the relevant code criteria and could have been approved administratively. The city manager has elected to seek your input on this. And finally, next slide. Just to repeat some of the history on this, the proposed marina replaces what was a long-time existing marina that was destroyed by Hurricane Wilma in 2005. This marina fulfills the complete vision of the wider, recently reinvigorated Marina Del Mar project, and in fact enhances the quality of the project and the quality of the residential environment at the marina. The marina was in continuous operation for nearly 40 years before it was destroyed by the hurricane. Even after the hurricane, the applicant has paid taxes on the marina since it was destroyed. The applicant has prioritized upland redevelopment and the fortified seawall, and now seeks to reinvest in the marina as well. And finally, Miami-Dade County Environmental Resources Management has performed a preliminary review of the proposed marina and confirmed its consistency with key regulatory provisions. Next slide. So with that, we ask for your approval for these minor modifications. With me this evening as well are representatives of the ownership of the property, including Don Dissinger and Richard Brock. We are available to answer any questions you have, and if necessary, would request a brief response to any comment. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
My first question would be regarding the railing on the seawall. Since it was your idea to have it originally, what was the reasoning behind having the railing?
I might ask Don to come forward. I think, Commissioner, that was before they were really focusing on the development of the marina.
Yes.
And when they got to the point of deciding they were going to redevelop the previously existing marina, then that wouldn't be an appropriate placement there. Don?
Jerry, we do have public speakers. We have some public speakers, so.
Okay.
Do we take the public speakers first, or then we can
You wanna-
open it up
You
for
want to
questions?
hold off on that? Okay.
Yeah, we can proceed with the public speakers if
Okay.
you like.
Sorry, gentlemen.
We'll
I'll
ask
come back to
questions.
it.
We'll ask questions. Okay, well, the first public speaker is Don Dissinger. There you go. That was, glad you didn't have a long ride there. Okay.
So I was sworn in earlier. I did submit my,
State your name and address for the record.
Yes. I'm Don Dissinger. My residence is in 100 Kings Point Drive in Sunny Isles Beach. And I am the Chief Development Officer for the Bernetti Organization and have been involved with this project since 2016 in its various iterations of development. So, to address your question, Mr. Joseph, so in the course of developing the project, in the early submissions, the landscape architect proposed the railing as part of the overall design. By the time we developed both the towers and all of the platforms for the tower, all of the safety issues that would be related to the higher level buildings were built into the buildings. So we have glass railings around all the buildings. And what we've seen in the other areas in town is that there's a lot of use along the fortified seawalls where people are actually enjoying fishing and doing other things. And so we saw that as an amenity to the community now that we have the easement for the bay walk around all our properties. And we see a lot of dog walking, fishing, and things like that already going on. So our thought was it not being required to enhance the amenity of the new seawalls, which are elevated higher than the other seawalls and quite safe in terms of flooding and everything else. It's just a better look and feel for the overall community, we thought. And that was our reason for not building that railing.
Right. So the original idea of the railing, it was for fancy rather than safety?
No, I think ultimately, and I can't speak for Mr. Yule, who is our landscape architect, but I think in general, he felt that it was required. And we learned long after that it wasn't. And then when we saw the use of the Baywalk, we felt it would be better to allow it for people. And I will be honest, fishing is a big thing around all of those areas. And so we see a lot of people coming to our property to do those things. So that's I think, how it evolved.
Right. Okay, so how do you plan on keeping small children away from the edge of the seawall?
Well, we have about anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of rise there and along the Baywalk. And it seems like all the other Baywalks, even right adjacent to us where we have the children's park, there's a good 10 feet of space which is used by families walking dogs and things between Point Siena and ours that have very similar situations. So I think it's a fairly safe environment.
So this railing wouldn't in any way keep children away from the seawall?
It might, but I think the curb itself keeps them on the walkway. The bulkhead itself is 2 feet. So it just seems similar to what we've seen elsewhere in the city of Sunny Isles Beach, and we think it's kind of compatible with the way people use the edge, the water edge in the community.
No, I understand that on many seawalls there is no, any barrier for children, but since you already have it incorporated in your plan, I was just thinking, if there is any type of safety involved with it, why remove it?
We've discussed that with our in-house insurance and everything. We think it's reasonably safe as it's currently designed, which is why we've asked to remove it.
Right. Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me?
We'll continue with the public speakers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mazlatan Raphael. Can you state your name and address for the record?
Yeah. Rafi Maslathon. I'm a resident of Point Siena, the island Point Siena at Sunny Isles Beaches. Raphael Maslathon. Unit 252? Yes. I'm actually right across the planned marina. So maybe one of the questions I have is, obviously it's very concerning to have that construction, so wanted to know how long that project will last, if indeed it will be approved. So if I can get someone to comment.
Go ahead. We've had our seawall under construction for quite some time.
Right.
So perhaps, I don't know, you'd like to address that or answer that question?
Yeah, the construction program is 6 months
6 months.
after a permit's received.
Okay.
So as you know from my experience living in the same place, it took 6 months just to get the permit after permit after permit to get it done. It took basically more than a year, and I only moved in this year to Sunny Isles. So that was my first concern. The second one, we only allowed in our island 43 boats, and the concern is manatees safety. So how is adding 18 boats will increase the safety of manatees? That's really clearly not clear to me. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I know this was articulated by Anisin, but the 18 slips were already there. I mean, this was already a permitted item, right? So it's not like they're creating 18 new slips. I mean, yes, there was a force majeure event that demolished that or that eviscerated the permit, but there were pre-existing 18 permitted slips before or when we had ours. So I'm not sure I see that as a.
I mean, I'm just concerned that I'm being not allowed to put a boat on my pier, which I have a permit to have one, and I have one built. And at the same time, we're hearing about 18 more boats that are much larger than what I'm planning to get, and that suddenly is allowed. So If there's
Does
any
that,
study
well,
that will kind
I
of,
guess
yeah.
I guess the question then is, I mean, is there any, Neeson, I mean, is there any, I mean, what would the Poinciana marine slip permitting, is that related at all to the Marina Del Mar permitting? Isn't that part of your own site plan? I'm just asking the question.
I can't speak as to their permitting, but Mayor, as you pointed out, there was historically this marina there for many, many years, for decades. B, remember, Durham has already preliminarily approved that. And Durham, of course, is one of the first things that they assess is if there would be any impact on manatees and seagrasses. So Durham has approved it. It's historically been there. It's not changing in any way the intensity of what's been there.
For me, that was the first question that I had, like, well, where did these marina slips come? That's why I asked the owner's rep about that. And then for at least what the information that I got was that these 18 slips were around for a long time.
But is there any way to get this information publicly available for us so we can actually confirm, or somehow a study will be showing us that in addition to the 43 that we allow to have, which is very limited, us as a resident of Poinciana Island, and at the same time there's 18 more, and that's obviously would be safe. So just in this isle, which is really where I live, suddenly adding 18 more boats, much bigger than what we have in any one of the residents there, and suddenly this make the safety of the manatees fine compared to adding 1 or 2 boats more in our island that is completely, at the moment, restricted. So to me, there's a proportion that it makes no sense to me that 18 larger boats will keep the manatees safe, which is definitely an intent for all the residents of Florida to keep them safe. Not very clear to me how that's been allowed and what study available for us as the public to see and basically comments, or at least understand better the information, the facts, the numbers, which I have not seen anything like that published.
Yeah, again, I mean, you can respond, but again, I think they're separate. I think it's a separate consideration, or no? I don't.
Mayor, also just for the record, the Durham report and analysis is a public record. And their finding is that it is consistent with the Manatee Protection Plan. And those of you, I think, Mayor, you're probably well familiar with it. Durham is not an easy agency. If there was any problem, they would let us know. So it's all public record. It's all available to you. It's all consistent with the Manatee Protection Plan.
And it's online as well.
And it's best.
So is there any way, can you indicate where that can be obtained if this gentleman is interested in that?
If he
Yeah.
gives me his contact information, I'll send him the contact. Okay?
And I'm absolutely cognizant of your items presented.
And of course, it's 6 months. Is there any way to kind of confirm that will be a 6 months rather than a 2 years project? Because obviously I'm going to live in front of that construction for the next many months to come. So is there any way to create some sort of a contract with the contracts that will do that kind of activity and have a very significant penalty in case they will slip?
I can't speak for the owner, but I will say that their construction has been overall, and their deliverables on a timely manner has been exemplary. I have to say, their experience has been. I think they've really performed on their timelines.
I trust what you're saying, but is there any way to include some sort of time limits for them to complete that within X number of months and basically make them accountable for that?
As with any
not
construction, there's always unforeseeable delays, so that wouldn't be anything that would be feasible.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to address that, or, I mean, it's not within the scope of our inquiry. I mean, that's beyond, the expectations of when they're going to complete their construction.
Precisely, Mayor, you've pointed that out. This is the province of the building official and the building department, follow their procedures and such. And you also did point out that a much larger construction project, the redevelopment of the entire site and the 2 new buildings, was done timely, efficiently, and well done. This is a very small component of it. But again, as the Mayor points out, what's being discussed now is not germane to this. It's a building permitting issue.
Right, and I think they're very accessible, so if you have questions, you can always direct them
So how would I provide you my information?
Okay. Do we have another public speaker, Eric Luca?
Thank you very much for the
Thank
opportunity
you.
to ask
No.
a question.
Good questions and very topical and very relevant. We're in Poinciana.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Fabiola. Hi, hello.
Can you state your name and
My name
address
is
for the
Eric
record?
Luca. I've been in Poinciana Island 236 since June 96. It's going to be 27 years now. I used to have my boat there, then I had to take it out. So my concerns is that how could it be that you're claiming that in October 26, 2005, when Wilma hit all of us, and I lost my roof, matter of fact, you lost the marina, and then now 17 years later, you didn't done anything. Now 17 years later, you are saying that you can have access to that. So in that same case, when I moved in Poinciana until 2001, 2002, we have access to everybody. The 100 units can have a boat. So if they can say that they can use their permit for the 18 marinas, why don't we have our own permits to have a boat in each of our units? This is point number one. So if you can please, or say this easier. If they want to you want to provide this, just give us all of us our access to put a boat in our backyard. That's number one. Second, why the marina you want to build it? And now I'm talking now as a civil engineer. Now you want to build the marina on the narrowest part of the channel. Based on how you want to put the main, let's see, like a pier, then you put a 40-foot boat there, try to maneuver. You are not going to hit my pier or my boat. You are going to hit my kitchen. You are going to get inside my room. So there is no, it's not feasible to do a marina there to have a boat more than 40 feet. So first of all, I don't think you are in a situation now to say yes or no to this will have to take at least 3 or 4 months of studies. That's what I'm asking you. I know that there are going to be some changes in the organization of the city government, okay, but this is not something that has to be passed now. And again, you want to do the railing, I don't care railing, but first of all, I want to vote. I don't care. If there is a marina in front, I don't care. Just move it to one side or the other when the channel is wider, much wider. And second, make it a pond that each of us will receive the same permit to have a boat in front of our units. And I tell you why we cannot say not.
Eric, that's not something that the commission can arbitrate or decide on.
We can try.
We can't as a commission body just allow that every owner can have a boat in Poinciana Island.
With the same situation that if I have a boat 20 years ago, why I cannot have a boat? And they're saying that they have a boat, they have a permit 17 years ago. They never use it, and now they can get it. Something is unfair here. It's basically unfair. Each of us in Poinciana, we have a way to do it. Now, you're okay. You got your boat. You got your pier. I congratulate you. Even saying to you, Fabiola, congratulations. I will try to be a commissioner next time just to have a pier on my house. Just.
Yeah,
it's fair. It's fair. I'm not being sarcastic. It's the way to do it. So give us a...
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't have a boat or a pier in behind my house. Okay, so
okay.
I don't have a...
Okay, now may I say, may I add something to, just a suggestion to the people of Marina? If you're going to improve my 3 units are right across the parking permit, the building, the parking building. Do you know, and you live there, you know that you're allowing Harley Davidsons to park on the top floor, and they come at 1 in the morning and they go round and round, around 8 floors, 1 in the morning, 6 in the morning. So don't leave the bikes and the cars with the open exhaust going to the higher floors. And second, please, the garbage truck at 7:20 every day is a killer. It's a killer. And I talked to the city, I talked to some inspectors, and one of the inspectors that I'm going to have him fired, he told me, why don't you sleep with earplugs? And this is So in the next month, I'm going to request this guy to be fired. But that's not the response to a person that lives here, and we pay the salary of this big guy. So please, you can tell the garbage truck to come at least at 8:30 or 9. Maybe more expensive, but please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Understood. Understood. Okay, Greg Capra?
Let's see where he's going with this.
Good evening. Greg Capra, 257 Poinciana Island. I'm the president of the board there, and I have quite a bit of knowledge about dealing with Durham and the concerns of our residents there. And respect to their questions, this particular marina really doesn't have anything to do with Poinciana's marina. Durham's laws, as far as I know, what they've told us, and why we have only 43 powerboats is because we have 4,300 feet around the island. They allow one boat per 100 feet. So I would assume they have 1,800 feet. If they have more, they'd probably be asking for more slips. That being said, unit owners are concerned with the construction, how long this is going to take, and so on. So they have questions. So while I'm personally not against what they're doing, I would ask that the commission delay the decision so unit owners at Poinciana could gather more information and be comfortable about this process and what's going to happen. Now, you say they've had a marina before, and I would say, why shouldn't they have a marina now? Eric's comment about boats being a certain length is valid, but that's really not your decision. If Durham felt it was unsafe, and they didn't mention Army Corps of Engineers, and so was the Army Corps of Engineers involved with this? So they had a marina before. I don't know that they need to be involved again, but there's questions that need to be asked and answered, and I don't know that it's so important to make a decision tonight versus in January, where they can come back. Others could ask questions that they want to bring up and provide them. I know people had an opportunity to be here tonight and could have asked those questions. I don't know if anyone else is here. But it does give a little extra time, and I'm not against this, but I think some other questions need to be answered, and an extra month really wouldn't be a big deal to allow that to happen. Thank you.
Okay, we have no other public speakers, so again, I'd like to just ask the question again. These marina slips were pre-existing, correct? You had a pre-existing
Correct.
plan where you had 18 marina slips, is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
And that you have full clearance with manatees and with wake and with passage of boats through that canal. So any placement of these marina slips,
It has
the
been-
quantity, the ingress, the egress, the manatee, the environmental, all of that has been completely vetted, correct?
Has all been reviewed
Okay.
by Durham and preliminarily approved.
Okay, so Durham, in the same way Durham approved that they approved with whatever conditions in Poinciana Island, correct?
Correct, Mayor.
So there's no issue whatsoever with the amount of slips, the clearance, the ingress, the egress?
Where they're located, no variances, all by right within Durham
Okay.
permit, within Durham's rules, within the city's rules.
And we've had plenty of opportunity to discuss this evening, and there are no other lingering questions or any reason
I have a
to
question.
Oh, I have a few
other
comments and
than
questions.
whatever, my colleagues have here. But for me, that was the sine qua non, right? That the fact that there were these 18 slips already in existence, and that's why I felt, all along, hey, it's not like you're creating something from nothing here.
Correct, Mayor. And it is permitted as a matter of right. And it meets all the criteria for site plan. So,
And I think it'll be beautiful, just like the building, so. Anyway, go ahead. Commissioner
so-
Stuyvesant.
Number one, about the cable railings. That sidewalk is a public sidewalk, right?
correct.
So by us accepting to eliminate that cable railing, if anything happens in there, are we liable for it? The city is liable in any way or case? Because I don't know the answer.
No, I don't believe we are because those cables aren't required by the terms of our land development regulations.
Okay, it was just like extra layer of protection. So, but again, I just wanted to clarify that that sidewalk
Correct.
is a public sidewalk.
Yes, and Commissioner, as Mr. Dissinger said, it is consistent with the other public bay walks, so.
Yeah, like the one in Saint-Tropez, that doesn't have, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we are not liable by saying no to accepting. So number 2, with the modification of the entryway signage, I have no issue with it. Number 3, with the condition of approval, I have some issues because you have 35 units right now for
Correct.
workforce housing, right? What is the price, kind of those? Do you know?
Well, the way the workforce housing unit pricing goes is it's set based upon the median income for a family or an individual in Dade County, and it cannot be higher than what would be housing for someone at 120% of AMI, adjusted median income, and which would be 30% of that income. So, for instance, if somebody is, and it's scaled also based on whether it's 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people.
Right.
So if it's a family of 4 and the person earns 120% of AMI, which would be, I think, about $90,000, then I think that the total rent there couldn't be more than $27,000, and that's the very, very high end.
Yeah,
If it was 2 people, it would be less. If their income was $70,000, it would be 30% of that. So that's the cap. They don't actually control the rent. The rent is controlled by the income of the tenant.
Correct, but right now those 35 units are all over the building, the oldest building, right?
Correct.
How you have it, like per floor, or and what you are expecting to do now? You want to put them all in the first, second, third floor?
No, in fact, to the good question, and that actually prompted, I think, the desire of ownership for the change, because over time, tenants will come, tenants will go, and in order to be able to make sure they can accommodate them in various parts of the building, they wanted to have the flexibility to move the units around. Whereas if you're locked in specific units, then those will always be. I mean, these workforce units will be integrated with all the units throughout the entire complex, and so it gives them more flexibility, and it works a lot better.
But I'm really concerned with that item because people is being displaced as it is here in Sunny Isles because everything is going higher and higher in the prices. And if you have those 35 units right now, very well described in the covenant that you have, I don't see what will be the difference in the flexibility of just changing the numbers or having it open. What I'm scared is that right now you might have 5 units on the top floor with a very nice view, and then we can move those 5 units now to the bottom floor with no view. I don't know if that's
Well,
it can
first
happen,
of all, the covenant requires, no matter what, there always must be 35 units.
Correct, exactly.
So this is not changing the number of units, whatsoever. But what it is doing is, as we realize, is the flexibility to say as to where the units are, because tenants come and go, and you might want to put a tenant in another unit, a new tenant in another unit. And that's candidly the way I think most of the workforce housing unit allocations go. Want to say something?
And Commissioner, just to add to that, as part of our workforce housing ordinance, they're required to submit an annual report every October to my department that's going to be reviewed. And in that report, it does need to list every unit number. So at that time, if we see that they're all on floor 1, well, that's in violation of their covenant, that it needs to be on multiple floors. So we will be monitoring the workforce housing program in the building.
I understand. Still, I'm not comfortable with that item. And the last one, about the marina, I see my neighbors here of Poinciana, and I understand why they are upset, because the way the marina slips are managed in Poinciana is very questionable, to say the least. Some people will even call it like fraudulent, what they are doing with the marina slips in Poinciana Island. So I understand their concerns, really. But having said that, the numbers don't lie. You have 32.7 units per slip, because you have a total of 589 units between the three buildings. So I'm going to repeat. You have almost 600 units and only 18 slips. So that gives you, per slip, 32.7 units. So I don't know how it's going to be also the dynamic that you guys are going to be using to assign those slips. It's going to be a lottery or whatever. But having said that, I didn't see anywhere, maybe it was there, but I didn't read it, the limits to the size of the boats. Also, the marina was there, like you said, back almost 20 years ago. I don't feel comfortable right now with bringing this item and approving this item the way it's presented. So I leave it to my colleagues for their comments.
I don't see that, delaying this has any value or merit. I feel that, for me, I'm very comfortable with all four items. The workforce housing covenant change is really just to give more flexibility, but it doesn't mitigate the number of units. It's how the rentals work. So it's a requirement, it's a covenant, and they're always going to have those 34 workforce housing units. So for me, it's just a non-issue. It's very minor. The signage obviously is minor, the cable, and for the marina, again, if it's pre-existing and you've got the slips and you can get it permitted, and I think it will beautify the area, and I'm comfortable with that as well.
So I have some questions. So obviously you had a marina there before. That was a long time ago. Things changed. So I just want to know if it's comparable in the size of the boats that it will house, and if it's going to be the same dimensions as before, and if it's going to go in the same place, because I know that one of the Poinciana residents said that it's going to be placed in the narrowest point of that canal, let's say. So that, I have those questions, and yeah, I'll let you answer those.
Commissioner, well, first of all, it is where the marina was located before. Remember, Durham would only approve it, is approving it also based on the fact that there were historic 18 slips there.
Okay.
The length of boats is also regulated by how far out you could put the mooring poles, which are regulated by the city as well as by Durham. These are not we are not seeking variances to extend them so that they can be farther out.
Okay.
So this is essentially what was historically always there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm just a little concerned, with the geography of that canal. Obviously, you have people in front of you. There's a lot more, let's say, possibility of echoes. And regarding the time limits that we're imposing, 6 a.m. to 12 a.m., correct? Is that a citywide imposition, or
That's
does it
something we
work?
volunteered.
That's
There's no limit.
Okay.
Are going to be even enforced. Like, you are going to tell somebody you cannot go out fishing at 4 in the morning. You have to wait until 6, or you cannot come back late from the beach. So you have to wait outside in the middle of the water until it's 6 a.m. to come back. I don't see how that is going to be able to be enforced.
You have a series of fines if it's violated. We have the advantage of actually this not being a condominium property. This is a centrally managed property. These are apartment unit owners who, and those are the only people who can have slips there, apartment dwellers, not owners. And they can they are subject to the rules as well, not only the city's rules, but the association, but the management's rules for the buildings. There's more enforcement that you'll be able to have for this than if it was at a typical building where a variety of people own the slips. They own the slips. They're responsible. They deal with it. And I would point out, I mean, it is important to point out, because the discussion is beginning to get, somewhat candidly, a field of what really is properly before this. Remember, this marina is a matter of right. And the only thing that it can be judged by is the criteria in your code for site plan approval. And your planning director, and that you find that in page 3 of the staff report. We meet all of this criteria. Because we meet all of this criteria, there is no basis for not approving this. That's notwithstanding that, the manager and the planning director have asked us to voluntarily, sought us to voluntarily proffer additional conditions, further restrictions beyond what the law requires, and we have agreed to do that voluntarily.
So, okay, I understand that, you have the right for this. But I live in Winston Towers, right? We have a marina around there, and we don't have anything in front of it that will bounce off the noise, but still we get complaints. Just from a resident perspective, obviously, are you suggesting or telling us that you're going to manage the behavior of these residents that have their boats? Are
Absolutely.
They're under your management, let's say?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They had, remember, this property has full-time, 24-hour management.
Okay.
And security. And so this is, will have a greater control than any private property, any condominium property, because you've got, they also have the ability, not only your enforcement of the city's code, but they have the ability to yank someone's right to use a slip as well. So their hands-on management, remember, the Brunettis, as I said, have owned this property for almost 40 years. They've built this property to own it for the long term. They have a greater interest in making sure that this is well run than anybody would, candidly. Because they don't want it they're going to have lots of tenants there. They're not going to want their own tenants disturbed. And as Commissioner Stuyvesant pointed out, at most 1 out of 32 units are going to have a slip. They're not going to want to have the other 31 unit owners per slip inconvenienced. So this is the best situation you could have, candidly, for a managed marina.
Is there a limitation on the size of the boat that they could put in there in these slips, or is that, there are,
It's prescribed.
it's prescribed?
Well, please.
I appreciate all the concerns, and I'm listening to them because we, as an ownership, want to protect all the citizens when we have this development. So we went to Durham and we developed the design and engineered it within the described dimensions of the waterway. The slips are designed and engineered precisely as told and directed by Durham. The length of the boat, the length of the slip, the mooring poles, the width of the canal, the channel, and the depth of the channel. The depth and size of every boat on every slip is prescribed precisely in the drawings that we presented so that everybody understands how many boats we have, what the size will be, and what Durham would allow.
So you're not putting 100-foot yachts in
No,
there? I mean,
and the width of, everything's
there's a
engineered within the width of the
No,
waterway
that's-
and prescribed by Durham because of the width.
No, my concern is more from a resident perspective. I mean, you're sitting there and somebody's taking their boat out at 6 a.m. and they're going to wake you up, it's just not pleasant, and we're a very crowded city. There's a lot of noise pollution around. We were talking a few weeks ago, and we've been talking throughout the whole year about noise ordinances. So, I'm just looking at it from a perspective of having a good night's sleep, not being, bothered by these boats and all that. So I know that you have the right to build this. I'm just asking that you manage it well and that you're considerate and that you're a good neighbor, because you have Poinciana in front of you, you have other people. I mean, noise is bouncing all around here. I don't know, do you live here in this city or?
I don't, Commissioner, but I'm I've come to the city
You're well
since
aware.
I was a
I mean, yeah, I
child.
know you're very familiar with the city.
My
So
dad had a drugstore in this city in the 1950s and 60s.
you had a drugstore here?
Yes,
Yeah?
where it's one of the RK centers, the one that has the, it's like the watermelon-shaped dome.
That became a restaurant?
Yeah, when that shopping center was built by the Sirkin family in the 50s, my dad had a big drugstore there. So I've been coming to this city since I was a little baby.
Okay, all right.
Commissioner Lama, I think it's important to point out that nowhere else in the city are there time limits about boats coming in and going out, okay? They voluntarily have agreed to the 6 to 12. It's the only marina in
No,
the
and I
city where
appreciate
there are
Yeah,
time
yeah.
requirements.
Because I know that the one in Winston Towers, and there's another one that, we get a lot of noise complaints for, so. yeah.
But you also have our assurance, Commissioner, that this will be heavily managed, well managed. It's a family asset, and they want a good environment.
Right, we can't even regulate noise on the waterways, right? We can't.
No, we have no ordinance for
We
that.
don't have, the noise ordinance doesn't even extend to.
It doesn't extend to
No, because they're
party boats
jurisdictional.
and all that, no?
Yeah, I mean, the Coast Guard we can't even. Vice Mayor,
Yeah,
Scar, you've been
just had
noticeably silent on
just-
this.
Just a couple of questions. To me, it's pretty clear that you meet the criteria. Whether we love it or we don't, the criteria is the criteria. But I had a question about the length of the lease of the slips. Does it go per when you rent the unit? And then do you have a wait list? And how do you move up that list? Do you have to help your neighbor get evicted? How does that work?
So, the reason we're proceeding with the project in this is because we weren't certain that there would be interest for all of the slips. We're finding out that there are some tenants now that are coming and are interested in those. So they're one-year leases. I think one of the things that's very important to us, we developed a whole list of marina rules which we submitted as part of this application. Our greatest concern is that there isn't partying going on the boats, so we have a very strict list of rules, because our goal is to protect even the residents that don't rent. But it's a first-come, first-served basis, and yes, there would be a wait list, and our goal...
So if I come in, and I come in with my boat, and I move in,
Right.
so I get my slip, and if I follow all the rules, you don't have any problems with me. As long as I keep renewing my lease, I get to keep renewing the slip?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I had another question. Okay, I saw in the report, you have to be a resident there to rent, right?
That's correct.
But, so you have to show that you have to prove that you're a resident. But do you have to prove that it's your boat?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to not only prove it's your boat, you can't rent somebody else's boat and park it there.
Well, that's
and do
where
anything.
I'm going,
None
because
of that,
that wasn't in
and
the
all of
report.
that's policed. We have a licensed marine dock master that will serve us in the leasing, in the filing of their requirement to meet our lease and rule requirements, and that'll be vetted by management. And then, once you have a lease, it's yours on a renewable basis.
Okay. Okay, those were my questions. Again,
And just
to
one-
mitigate the party boat issues and the other, but if it's to the interest of your property and your reputation and your property values and all of that, to manage it well, so.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Chair Joseph.
Thank you.
Questions?
So just for the information of the Poinciana residents, I particularly looked at the length of the width of the waterway, and it appears to be 178 feet.
Yeah, and it's on our drawings. I would love to answer you, yes, that's exactly what it is, but I'd have to look at the drawings. But the waterway on our drawings is defined at each location relative to our slip.
Right.
And Durham has reviewed those locations and minimized the length of our slips and our mooring positions to reflect the requirements of Durham in the channel.
Yes. So your slips are 24 feet, apparently. And what are they, 4 pilings, right, every 6 feet? You have a piling?
So, in terms of the walkway going down and
No,
the
I'm talking
light,
about the T-slip.
the T-slip, yes,
So you'd have 4 pilings,
at least.
Yeah.
Yes.
probably 4 pilings, each 6 feet. So, on center, right? So, the maximum length of the boat would probably be between 45 and 60?
No, our boats are less than 40 feet.
Okay,
No boat is greater than 40 feet.
okay.
No
So then,
boat,
as
and
far as,
and we're not allowed to do that because that's a Durham requirement with
Right.
our design.
okay, so there's no issue with turning in the canalway?
No, all those
You have
aspects were studied.
178
That's
feet, and
correct.
if you have a 40-plus boat, it's not an issue.
That's
for anyone.
correct, sir. Thank you, yes.
I think, I don't know, do we have any more comments or questions, or are we ready to? Okay, so that being said, we have no further questions, comments, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Commissioner Joseph?
I'll
moves.
second.
Second, Commissioner Vice Mayor Viscara. Do we need roll?
Voice vote. Voice vote.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
No,
Aye.
I vote no.
Okay. 4-1?
4-1.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Commissioners. Look forward to the opening of this project, which will be facilitated by your vote tonight. Thank you.
Good luck, thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Okay, item 7A. On 7A?
Yes. 7A is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, amending ordinance number 2022-595, approving budget amendment number BA 2223-01 to the city's operating and capital improvement budget for the 2022-2023 fiscal year General Fund, Street Maintenance and Construction Fund, Building Fund, Capital Projects Fund, Stormwater Operations Fund, authorizing the city manager to do all things necessary to implement the terms and conditions of this ordinance, providing for an effective date. And this is first reading.
Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commission, this budget amendment is necessary for the following reasons. To record cost of living adjustments in all the city departments, to modify the risk management budget for the increase in the 22-23 insurance renewal. That was approved. However, when we did the budget, we did not have those final numbers. And then the last one is to appropriate additional funds for the Golden Shores utility undergrounding.
No public speakers?
Not for this, though.
Questions? Comments from the dais?
I don't feel comfortable when they put like different items together. Some of this has to do with the cost of living and with insurance and with the funds and Golden Shores. I would rather have each one and vote each one separately. So that's my only suggestion for moving forward.
Okay, generally, budget amendments, when they're determined to be needed, it's for what's determined to be needed at that time, but understood.
Could you please give us the the amount of money for each of the 3 you just mentioned?
Sure. So the first one in all the city departments, that amounts to $520,000.
That's COLA.
That's the COLA.
Okay.
The risk management is, give me 1 second. That is approximately $260,000. And then the last one is $589,000.
That's the Golden Shore.
That's the Golden Shores.
500 what?
589.
Any other questions or
So
comments?
really, the first 2 is staffing, right? I mean, it's COLA.
Yeah, the insurance is related to the property insurance renewal. Yeah.
Any other comments, questions? That being said, do we have a motion?
Motion.
So moved. Commissioner Joseph, second. Vice Mayor Viscara. All in favor?
Aye.
Or voice vote?
What's a-
Voice
For-
vote?
No, roll call, Mayor, sorry. Commissioner Joseph,
Yes.
Commissioner Lama,
Yes.
Commissioner Stuyvesant,
No.
Vice Mayor Viscara,
Yes.
Mayor Goldman.
Yes.
The ordinance passes on first reading 4-1. Second reading will be scheduled for January 19th, 2023.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Item 10A.
10A is a resolution approving a First Amendment to the project agreement with Keith and Associates for civil engineering and landscape architectural services for Bella Vista Park.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City staff. This item before you is with our consultant engineer Keith and Associates at Bella Vista Park. As part of the original proposal, we had a design fee for a seawall. Their consultant, their subconsultant for that work had backed out of it because they basically gave them the wrong number. So this budget, or this item, allows them to subcontract with another seawall consultant for the seawall design, and it also includes all the construction administration we're going to need on the project, which was not in the original proposals.
We have a public speaker. Ari Steiger.
Harry Steiger, 262 Atlantic Island. Is this going to be a pickleball court? What is it going to be? I never heard to do civil engineering on a small parcel like this for $250,000. It's, I think, way overpriced for this project.
Ari, I think you are referring to 10B. This is 10A for Bella
You don't
Vista Park.
combine them both?
No.
So 10A is $95,400. That's for what? What is $95,400?
The project is a marina and park at Bella Vista, which is located at 500 Sunny Isles Beach Boulevard next to the Shabbat property. So that's a city park property on the waterfront, under the bridge. That's what Bella Vista is. That's for seawall consultant, designer and permitting and construction admin.
Because that's way over.
And it's
I'm
also
building a
for,
seawall now in Boca.
it's also for the construction administration for the project. So it's breaking in, it's in basically three pieces. The design's about $35,000. The construction admin's about $35,000 for the seawall project, and it's another $30,000 for the engineer to do his construction administration for the property also.
I'm building a seawall right now, one in Boca and one in Port Lauderdale. It's 125 length, and I'm paying $110,000 for everything, for A to Z. So you should get a contractor that does the seawall. He should design it, including in the price. That's way overpriced just for the structure or whatever it is. You should bid it out. It's
Well,
way
that,
overpriced.
that's a different way to address the project, but we're not doing it that way.
Ari, the
Our
100
project is $30,000 for the design.
Sorry, Ari, the 125,000 includes the designer that did the derm work for you as well? And that was the person that did the derm work as well?
Everything.
Mhm.
And you have Morrison seawall, that one of them, there's like 3 or 4 of them. It's way overpriced. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, well, we're just focused on item 10A for Bella Vista Park, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any other comments from Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 10B.
10B is a resolution approving a project agreement with Keith and Associates to provide civil engineering and landscape architect services for the Intercoastal Court Sports Complex.
So this is the property on 158th Street, going north to 159th Street, where we're adding the additional property from, that's available from the Marina One developer to the north of what used to be the Ritz sales trailer. So this is the combined total contract for this to basically double the size of the project.
That's a good thing.
So this will allow us to get back to some conceptuals on what we can do with the whole piece.
Okay. We have no other speakers other than Ari, who've already spoken his piece. You want to speak on that too, or?
It's the same situation. I mean, it's way over 160.
All right, can you come up to the microphone, please?
Don't we have our own, isn't Keith our vendor?
161,400 to do, I don't know what, landscaping architect, design of the property? That's no construction or anything.
No, this is for the design, the feasibility and design work to develop the plans to go out to bid to build the
How
park.
big is the lot?
Overall, this is going to be about 1.5 acres.
Again, you should bid it out and not depend on one architect.
Well, we don't bid out architectural engineering services.
Well, you should, you save a lot of money.
That's not allowed for city work.
Ari, we have
Through the
an
state.
approved vendor, we have an approved list.
So we
It's
hire
not-
consultants.
It's not on that type of bidding process.
Yeah, we hire consultants and evaluate them and then obtain proposals.
And that's the maximum, right? It doesn't mean that it's going to be that amount. It can be less than that, right? Because it's a maximum of 161,000.
Correct.
Okay, we have no other, everyone, do we have any other comments from the dais, our colleagues? Any other comments? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
So moved, Commissioner Stuyvesant, second. Do you have a second on this?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Lama. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, item, thank you, Rick. Item 10C.
10C is a resolution rejecting all proposals received for request for proposal number 220901 for restaurant lease and operations at 18050 Collins Avenue.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Vice Mayor and Commissioners. Tonight, I will detail the procurement process for the subject RFP. In addition, I will be providing the City Manager's recommendation. On September 9th, 2022, the city released the request for proposals, also known as an RFP, was released on DemandStar. 20 vendors registered as a plan holder to receive automatic updates regarding this RFP. For those of you who are not familiar with DemandStar, DemandStar is a recognized procurement database platform with thousands of registered vendors according to their commodity code. In addition to DemandStar, the RFP was emailed to over 400 restaurants listed on the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association and the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Database. The RFP was also emailed.
Sorry,
Thank you, Janet. One time.
The RFP was also emailed to approximately 15 interested vendors who contacted the city requesting to be added to the vendors list. The city held a non-mandatory Sunshine pre-proposal conference and site visit to the location on September 20th, 2022, in which 7 interested vendors attended the meeting. The due dates for the sealed submittals was October 20th, 2022, no later than 11 a.m. On October 20th, the city clerk's office received 2 proposals by the set deadline in response to the RFP. The 2 proposals was 1, Pantheon Gastrobar and Prime 29 Inc. The evaluation committee appointed by the city manager was composed of 3 city employees, which was the assistant city manager, the planning and zoning director, and our senior accountant. The evaluation committee met to review and rank the 2 proposals on November 3rd, 2022 on the 4th floor conference room. The meeting was posted on the city's website as a Sunshine public meeting. Based off the criteria on page 31 of the RFP solicitation, the committee evaluated and ranked Pantheon Gastrobar as the highest ranked firm. After considering and reviewing the committee's recommendation, the city manager finds that it is in the best interest of the city to reject all proposals. Therefore, if you have any questions regarding the procurement process, I'll be more than happy to address them. But if not, I will turn it over to the city manager if he wishes to expand on his recommendation.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the commission, I felt that as if with the number of bids that we had, we only had 2 viable bids, and I didn't think it in the best interest of the city to put us into a contract for 10 years based on only 2 viable bids. So with that, we would ask for your guidance in rejecting the bids and placing the property again out to bid if that's your desire. Thank you.
We have public speakers, Sami Lati.
Hello, good evening, everyone. How are you? Sorry, I didn't come prepared. I live right across the street in 10101 Collins Avenue by Trump House. We own a family business. It's a kosher restaurant. We are rated the #1 restaurant in New York City as of now. We're located in Wall Street. We have kosher clienteles and non-kosher clienteles as well. And I would like the opportunity to get some information to maybe proceed across the street in 18050. I think Sunny Isles is in need of an upscale, a nice kosher restaurant, and it could be kosher and non-kosher for other clients as well.
Okay, just to clarify, if you don't mind, so you're not one of the 2 vendors?
No.
You're, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that, thank you.
No.
So if as and when it goes up for rebid, you're certainly welcome to.
Yes. I would love to.
Participate so that we can have a wider sampling
100%,
of viable vendors rather than just the 2 that submitted.
100%. I would like to, I left my information with Genesis I spoke to before, and I explained everything that, what kind of clienteles we actually host, commissioners, mayors, the president, and on and on and on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Have a good evening.
Alejandra Amadar, PA.
Hi, good evening. Thank you to all the commissioner and mayor to introduce myself. My name is Alejandro Amador. I'm a real estate advisor for V&E, Vida and Estilo Entertainment Restaurant Group. And I come here to recommend adopt the resolution, the 220901. That gives the opportunity to our group to introduce ourselves as well as a bidders for that space for the 18050 Collins Avenue. I think that my client, Vida y Estilo Group, has a vast experience for over 20 years, or 25 years in Miami Beach, in the beach, Miami locations. It's a great experience, and I say it's going to be a great value add for the Sunny Isles City.
Thank you.
Did you bid before? In the
No,
when the
we
first
wasn't
one out?
aware, unfortunately.
Okay.
And we want to adopt the resolution in order to have the opportunity, in this case, to be on time and properly.
All right.
Thank you.
Any question? Thank you.
I have another from your group, I guess Elba Machado.
The director.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Elba Machado, Director of Communications for Vida y Estilo Vieni Restaurant Group, and as well as my colleague Alejandra Amador, I would like for you to support the resolution, the adoption of the resolution for the rejection. Provided that happens, our group Vida y Estilo, 25 years in Miami Beach, recipients of the Key of the City of Miami Beach by Mayor Galbraith, and soon to reopen the News Cafe. Our group would like to, we'll definitely, we were not aware of the bid, but definitely provided that you adopt this resolution, we will definitely provide ours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming in. Okay, do we have any other, do we have any comments, or are we going to take a motion?
If we decide not to go with the Pantheon Gastrobar, can we give maybe the direction to start the bidding process immediately? Like now, how long do you need? Can you start in January? How does that work? If we give that direction and it gets approved.
Mayor, as part of the discussion, we'd like some direction on whether we should continue with the current lease that we have of the space right now.
I mean, in my understanding, part of the impediment or the difficulty in this process was because there's construction going on with the garage, right? And it makes it difficult to really, cars, construction, and, interference. I think that was part of it to allow to get that building finally constructed before we.
That's correct. There's some pre-existing approvals that will take up the west side of the property, which would encumber the property from the perspective of having a dumpster and things like that. So we currently have an option with our existing tenant to extend the lease for 6 months up to a year at a rate of $20,000 a month.
Which would, more than cover, and I think the issue really is that while that construction's going on, it's difficult for any restaurant to really come in and, effectively open up. I mean, that's part of it is,
Well, but the fact that we have 2 restaurants here that they are interested, they know the conditions as well. And even if we start the bidding process, it takes time, right? Like you have to announce it and post it and prepare, etc. So what will be the time frames if you start all over again that process?
To release a solicitation process, at least to advertise and release, a minimum of 30 days, and that's minimum.
Correct, exactly.
When realistically is that garage going to be open? Are we talking 6 months from now, or 8 months? How long is that construction?
The estimate is a year, so by December of next year, if not sooner.
Mr. City Manager, when Tony Roma's was leasing the property, what was their rent? Do you recall?
I thought it was 20,000 base.
I think it was
Yeah, about the same
20,000
amount.
base plus a percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
around 20,000.
it's not a revenue, it's really more because of the staging and the construction of the garage, it's kind of difficult.
The city would be at a deficit to, if we leased it under those conditions, we wouldn't be able to get the maximum rent.
The other part is that the city would have to pay the taxes, and we're in negotiations with the current tenant that would require them to pay the taxes depending upon the length of their next lease with us.
But right now they are month to month, right?
Yeah.
Correct. They are scheduled to vacate at the end of the month.
And they're interested in staying for another year?
Yes, they are, in conjunction with the construction.
I mean, again, that's probably why we didn't get a lot of bids, right? Because it's unrealistic to think that a restaurant, even if they got in right away, whether they could get in and given the construction and the interference in that area.
They would need
they would
4
look
to
for
6
givebacks
months
from the city as well.
to get ready as well, for construction inside and to get ready.
So it really doesn't make sense for us to lease it at this point, except to the current person who's leasing.
That's my thought. I
To
think
stay
it's
with
really,
this situation until
It's a
The garage construction is complete.
it's a disservice to go immediately into a bidding process for that space, given the construction and the impediment that's occurring.
But remember that the leasing, the bidding process, it will take like 3 months. And once we decide who's gonna be there, they need like 4 to 6 months also to get ready for construction, themselves.
Yeah, but we
So
can
we're
gauge
talking almost
that
a
by
year.
the progress of the construction.
Yeah, but it's gonna happen regardless.
Right.
Earlier or later. So they're gonna need the time to build the restaurant. So if we have one construction going on, let's have 2 constructions. So maybe they can finish at the same time. And at the time that the parking garage is ready, then the restaurant can be open.
Right, but in any event, this is not the moment to take bids, because the garage is not that far along.
For me, I think we should, lease out to the current for another 6 months. We can start the bidding process in 6 months maybe,
But the month to month is working. Why do we have to change it to 6 months?
The tenant, because they would be responsible for paying the taxes, has requested a minimum of a 6-month extension. The taxes are approximately $60,000 on the space. So if the tenant vacates, then we will be responsible for paying the taxes for this next year.
But they have no other opportunity to put their offices anyway. So I think they need us more than we need them.
For me, I think we should, adhere to a 6-month window. I think we should give the current tenant 6 months and then, open up the bidding process in about 5-6 months from now.
Yeah, I would think 5 months, we could reopen the bidding process and had a good, look-see situation.
How long does the bidding process take? That what you just walked us through, how long did that take?
I'll give you the schedule that was on the existing RFP. So the release was September 9th. The release that we released it on Demand Star to the public.
So it's a 3-month. Okay.
Okay, I have my thoughts too. So I think we should desist from making Tony Roma's or the old Tony Roma's a restaurant. I think we should use it for office space. We're super crowded on the 3rd floor. And if you look at it from a productivity standpoint, I think that if we move some people there, that they will work better, okay? We're not in the business of being landlords, okay? We've had bad experiences with Tony Roma's, okay? We only got small percentage on the dollar for that rent that they owed us. And then look at Turnberry Sales Office. With this administration.
That wasn't the city's fault, that was.
No, I'm not saying it's the city's fault, but we should stay focused on what our mission is and what our business is. And I think we should use that. It's a great space. We should use it as office space and forget about having a restaurant there. There's restaurants here and that's not our business. If we tie ourselves up for a 10-year lease, right now we're having issues with space. I don't see why we have to make it a restaurant there.
Alex, recognizing your comments, can we at least kind of reach consensus that, we can extend the current lease for 6 months?
That's not even the issue, right?
I don't think that's
The
what
issue
we're
is the bids. It's not
Well,
extend the
it's
lease.
actually both, because they would have to leave these premises on or before December 31st. So if you want an extension.
I thought we were month to month.
But they need 6 more months in order to agree to pay the taxes for the coming year.
Can we negotiate that in 3 months?
They're asking for a 6-month minimum extension. So if you want to approve this item, and then understand, or give the manager the authority to go ahead and negotiate so that it starts on January the 1st, and come back to you in January to ratify that lease.
Yeah.
That extension.
Listen, nothing's going to happen before 6 months. And then we get $20K per month, correct? If not more, if they're going to move more people in there. And then they pay our taxes. Why not? And then we could decide whether we make it a restaurant or not. My idea is, no, we make it office space eventually. Why tie ourselves up for 10 years with a restaurant contract? So, but anyhow, But for now, short term, yeah, 6-month contract, and they pay our taxes.
The next 6 months, I feel it's a no-brainer.
I'm sorry, what, ma'am?
7,000 interior? You mean about 7,000 square foot interior? I think we can reach consensus on that, to, we can pass a motion to, run out the bids, and then also give the city manager direction to enter into a 6-month lease.
But before we do that, I do want to note, I think, we have to look for the city's best interest, and I think right now it's a low risk. It makes sense. I get it. But I do feel bad for the businesses who complied and met the deadlines and jumped through the hoops, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry because it feels like it's wasted time and effort. So I apologize for that. But if this is where we're at, I think it suits it. I think it's what makes sense to do. But I'm sorry about that it's wasted time and resources. For the bidders.
I don't actually think there's anything lost, because in 4 months, we're going to open it up for bidding again.
Right, I know, but.
We haven't said that yet.
We
have to put that.
I would.
And we've received the income stream for how many months we've had the income stream on the property. Which was the whole point of opening it up for restaurant bid in the first place, to have an income stream for the city, right? I mean, wasn't that the whole idea here?
To provide the service.
Yes.
Right. I like the idea, of keeping the property income producing. We don't have, other than taxes, we have very limited sources to produce income as a city, of revenue. So I like the idea of having a tenant, and right now we do. And that meets our primary purpose. If we brought in a restaurant tomorrow, we would not be receiving that rent right away, right? Because there would be that period where they're building out or whatever. So we don't lose anything. The municipality doesn't lose anything in doing this. We keep what we have. We even get somebody to pay our taxes. To me, that makes sense. And I'm okay with it. And I would move to, go ahead and reject it, and what's the other part, Ed? What do you need? And the lease.
And I would like to add to go into a rebid in 3 months.
3 months, 4 months.
So if we enter into a 6-month lease, I don't know if we can rebid in 3 months. Do we need to extend it to that, or do we just go?
Well, we are bidding right now in this lease, so I will guess
We
that
could
we can
bid-
do it.
We could bid in 3 months' time, but then we would not bring it back to you until the termination of the lease,
Correct.
Which is 6 months.
which would be 6 months minimum.
Yeah. So,
But I would hate to be in this position again.
no.
What if the garage or whatever, I just don't want to make people jump through hoops twice.
Yeah, but we cannot be tied to what.
We don't can be tied, but I don't think we need to put the 3-month piece on it. I think we can revisit the 3-month piece when we know what's going on.
I agree with Vice Mayor.
Well, I think as we watch the garage develop, then we'll have a better idea of when we can actually put it out for bid.
And
And it may be 3 months.
There could be delays as well on the garage.
And again,
Never know with construction.
We're achieving the income, that was the whole purpose or the rationale for this, leasing out the Tony Roma space. It wasn't so much about having a restaurant in there as it was, to create an income. So if we're accomplishing that as well, but again, the construction of the garage is really an impediment to, running a restaurant operation at this stage.
Anyway, so that's my motion to reject and to proceed with a 6-month lease with the current tenant, so long as they pay our taxes.
Correct.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Hold on, I have a question. Will this include go out to rebid?
No.
Put an RFP again out
No,
there?
no.
So we're just voting on rejecting the current proposals, correct? We're we're talking about extending the lease to the current tenant for 6 months, and then obviously they will pay the taxes.
And nothing stops us from the bidding piece.
Right, we can,
Yeah, but I don't want to
Initiate
vote,
that at
I don't
any
want to
time.
vote on the bidding piece. I don't think that should be a restaurant. I think that should be office space for the city.
well,
All right,
that's,
yeah, all right. No, I just want to make sure.
Okay.
So I'll second if that's the case.
Second,
Yeah.
second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
No, I vote no.
Okay, 4-1, motion passes. Item 10D.
D. Before we continue, Commissioners, just to remind you all, please speak into the mic. We have the recording that is having difficulty picking up your voices, and also members of the audience in the back. Thank you. 10D is a resolution ratifying the approval and execution of the opioid settlement participation agreement with Walmart.
City Manager?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the commission, this is similar to the opioid settlements that we've done in the past, and we are starting to see a number of these from different organizations. So as part of this, we're requesting the ability to approve these going forward.
Okay. No public speakers? Any comments? Okay, do we have a motion?
Second.
So moved, second, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay, item 10E.
10E is a resolution approving an in-kind donation to iPrep Academy North.
We have to be an equal opportunity, Stop the Bleed kit, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Joseph?
Yes, being that we have 60 students at iPrep North, I requested that the same accommodation be made to iPrep North regarding bleed kits, and it was accepted by the city. So we have 30 bleed kits going to iPrep North. And I appreciate the approval by the city.
So moved.
So moved. Second, all in favor?
We have some
Oh, wait,
public
we have a
speakers.
public speaker. Ari Steiger.
Ari Steiger, 262 Atlantic Island. I don't think the city should be a charity for any other schools. My two granddaughters are going to another school. They finished Norman Ellicott School. Why don't we donate them to them too? I mean, everybody comes with a donation. Dade County has enough money to pay for whatever they need. Why the city's got to donate money to them?
So we
The
did
same
donate.
as the two ladies from City of North Miami came and they want a donation for, I don't even remember for what. What is it? Every time they need a committee or whatever, they come for a donation from the city? Unacceptable.
No, that was turned down, and that was an absolute error.
There's more
that they
schools,
came
Dade
here.
County has the money to pay for it if they need it. My nephew is the CFO of Dade County. You want me to talk to him? He'll donate them the money.
We've already given bleed kits to ATM,
There's
which
no
is
reason
further than
this
iPrep
city
North.
shall donate any other school but Norman Ellicott School. There's no reason for it. It's our money, it's our taxpayer money.
These are our students that go to
Yeah,
those schools.
my granddaughters are going to a school in Miami. Why don't we donate it to them too? You cannot donate to every school in North Miami Beach or anybody that comes for a donation to the city. Why? It's not your money, it's taxpayers' money. The same as this seawall or whatever. I built a whole seawall, 125 foot for $100,000. This is just for architectural,
So I make the motion to approve it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you made the motion. Okay, I second.
Ari, you have a granddaughter that went to the school, and
I have two granddaughters that went to the school.
but one wasn't even, the parent wasn't even, she lived in Aventura, okay? So, anyway,
I'll just like to comment something. Obviously, we've sat here before, Ari. I think you were present, and we started with Norman Essettle Cup. Then we have, obviously, ATM is a feeder school of ours, so we thought about our students there, and we donated money. And then, obviously, Commissioner Joseph brought up IPREP. We do have some students there. I understand your dilemma or your questioning, but, you know, the way I look at it is safety, and we do have students there. We do have Sunny Isles Beach. Not all of them, but some of them do. A good portion of it. ATM, about a third.
There's plenty of
So
kids.
there's plenty of kids from Sunny
There's
Isles Beach
plenty of
there.
kids that go to-
Believe me, I understand your argument. We had that argument here.
Ari,
We had that
we're
debate
doing,
here.
Ari, we do Stop the Bleed kits in Sunny Isles Beach, and we know that 30% of the kids probably are from parents that don't even live here, including one of your grandchildren went to that school for years, and her parents didn't even live in the city. So we give the Stop the Bleed kits, and for the benefit of kids where the parents don't even reside in our city.
One of the commissioners came and wanted to give money to these two ladies. For what reason?
We did not.
Nobody gave
We
money
did
to
not.
any two ladies,
We
so
did
we're
not.
speaking a little out of turn.
You.
We didn't, there was two, Ari, it's not exactly the case. But anyway, we recognize your comments and we appreciate your input.
That was an error and it was rejected, Ari.
Okay, and it's not factually correct, but in any event. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, item 10F is,
10F is a resolution establishing a charter revision commission. Mayor Commissioners, as you all aware, the charter calls for a revision to be done every 10 years. Pursuant to section 7.4 of the charter, the 4 members of the commission, with the exception of the mayor, is entitled to 4 appointments, with the only requirement being that they have to live in the district that you all represent, each one of you. And the mayor has the ability to appoint one person that can live at large, meaning they can live anywhere in the city, and also has the authority to be able to appoint a non-voting member that's a member of the city commission that's serving a second consecutive term. So this resolution seeks to establish that so that they can commence their proceedings as soon as possible.
we have public speakers. Are you going to announce the appointments, or we want
Yes,
these public speakers first?
I'll mention the appointments. For Vice Mayor, it's Robert Thatcher. For Commissioner Joseph, Henry Strong. For Commissioner Lama, Silvana Zerulnikov. Sorry about that. And Commissioner Suvisan is Yvette Francola. And the mayor's appointment is Jody Joseph. And the non-voting commissioner is Vice Mayor Viscaro.
Okay, we have public speakers. For 10F, George Bardmesser.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, Vice Mayor. I would like to address one point, and that is the timing.
Sorry, where do you live, please?
Oh, I apologize. 18911 Collins Avenue, Ocean 3. My name is George Bardmesser. The only point I would like to address is the timing of all this. As you know, we just had an election. Mayor Goldman lost. For her being a transitional figure at this point and appointing anyone to this commission looks suspicious, looks shady, looks strange. There's no reason why Mayor Goldman, with all due respect to her, should be appointing anyone to this commission when 2 weeks from now we will have another mayor. So my recommendation to this council, to this commission, is to reject this proposal for 2 weeks until Mayor Svechin becomes acting mayor. And the cloud of this suspicion, forgive the repetition, is lifted. Thank you.
Norman Edelcup and Lynn Danheiser.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Norman Edelcup, former mayor of this city and resident at 244 Atlantic Isle. I'm probably one of the few people here that was present when the original charter was put together, and Lynn Danheiser, who's here tonight, was the attorney appointed for that charter, and everyone would recall at that point when there was an election, the mayor got sworn in or the commissioners got sworn in within 24 hours from an election. By the time 2001 came along, there were elections, and we noticed that there probably needed to be a change in the charter as to the timing, because primarily because of civility and courtesy, we didn't want to be kicking people out of office the day after an election, and we also wanted to provide for a timeline for a smooth transition. So in 2003, when the first charter revision took place, there was a provision made in the charter, which is applying today, that anyone elected would wait 30 days before coming in, realizing that there could be a situation where there would be a former mayor or a former commissioner still in office for 30 days. But we felt the courtesy outweighed the negativity of the situation, and that major issues really weren't going to be done during, let's call it, a lame duck period, and that certainly a new mayor would be given the opportunity, or a new commissioner would be given an opportunity to pick people that would be serving on committees during their time in office. So basically, I have two recommendations. One is change today's meeting to include that the 4 commissioners can make their appointments today, because they will be on the new commission, but reserve the right for the incoming mayor to pick the 5th person at the next January meeting. Or today just pass the resolution that you will have a charter committee, and in January all of you can fill in the 5 people that you wish to be on the committee. In this way, I think justice would be served. The idea that had preserved that we were basically providing for civility and common sense would prevail, and we wouldn't be sitting here with this very awkward situation. I'd like to now call Lynn to speak because my time is running out, and Lynn, you can finish off on.
But let me just say, Norman.
Yes.
When the situation came up in the federal government with Supreme Court justices, what was the end result?
Give me the specifics that you're talking about. What issue?
When we were told that Trump should not pick the Supreme Court justice and it should wait for Biden, what was the end result?
We're a local municipality.
I understand.
And I would hope that we would have civility in our community. And I think what you're suggesting is just running ripshot over the situation. But, all I'm doing is recommending that this be delayed as it relates to the mayor. I'm not saying it should be delayed to anybody else. But if each of you are appointing somebody, that means you're going to be communicating with that one. And when the new mayor comes in, she will be dealing with someone that was appointed by the old mayor, whereas all of you can be dealing with the person that you dealt with, but she won't be able to do that. So I thought I was talking. I didn't know you were going to override me. I would like the same courtesy that I gave you when I was mayor. And I'm not attacking the fact that her appointment would be your wife. That's certainly permissible under the code. But I think it's very unjust to take a lame duck situation and force upon the future commission and the future mayor a person that she didn't even select and would otherwise have had the right to select. If we had left the charter the way it was in the beginning, but because we wanted to be civil with each other, we gave everybody 30 days, and now somebody just wants to take advantage of that. Perhaps we're going to change the charter again at this next commission to correct what we thought was the right thing to do, but it did have unintended consequences.
But you're the one who made the change.
Mayor Goldman's right. You did make the change.
Yeah, you're the one who made the change, and now you don't
But-
want to accept the change that
But
you made.
may it please the commission, I'm here only as a historian and somebody who, in 1997, when I was 25, wrote this charter commission, wrote the charter, and we did provide, as the National Civic League recommended, that people get installed the day after they get elected. The situation did arise where it became difficult to throw people physically out of their offices the next day. And so that charter commission, the revision commission, changed it for 30 days, at which, of course, I drafted per their request. But it didn't contemplate this situation, obviously, and that may be something you want to take up with the new revision commission. But I'd like to remind you, the city was formed, and the reason the charter was drafted in the first place was because this area was part of the county, and the residents of this city to become wanted autonomy and wanted to be able to be part of the decision making. And they wanted the government close to themselves, and so they formed the city, and we drafted the charter with every provision with that question in mind. Did it reflect the choice of the people? And that's part of the reason that we had the installation and commencement of office the day after the election. So it is, in fairness, that Mayor Edelcup is asking to defer the mayor's selection, constitute the charter revision per the charter, as I'm sure your city attorney has told you to do, but give consideration to the unique circumstances and in the first instance, and in the second instance, maybe with your charter review committee, address it and potentially go back to the way it was intended to be. Thank you for your time.
Well,
It's
if
nice
I may
to
say,
see
Lynn, that
Yes, sir.
I think the election in the city here is a reflection of what's going on in the country. I mean, the election was only 20 votes, so you can't say that it's a majority.
With respect, Commissioner, I'm not addressing the politics at all. I am merely addressing the structure of the document. That's it.
In my understanding, there's a lot of frustration because Norman Edelcup wanted to be appointed to the Charter Review Commission. Okay, and so that's a little unfair because he's the reason why we have the law the way it is today.
Well, it wasn't just
Excuse me,
him.
I have never asked to be appointed to the Charter Commission.
Well,
So please stop starting rumors.
that's what I
The elections
heard.
are
I
over.
didn't start it. You're right. Well, not necessarily,
And
but
I
let's
resent
just-
the fact that you think that I'm trying to get into the Charter Commission.
Okay, well, then
Because
you
I
have
never
it for the
asked you.
record,
I don't
because
intend to.
That's what I heard. Okay, I
What?
didn't start the rumor. I just heard.
You could have asked me, but you decided to use it as a broadcast right now.
No, you came, listen, Norman, Norman, you came up to speak publicly, so that came back to me that you were frustrated because you wanted to be appointed to the Charter Review Commission.
Madam Mayor, if I
That's
may
what I
just
heard.
say one last thing. One of the reasons the charter was established was to place principles above personalities so that it doesn't involve any individual, but it really relates to the good of the government as a whole. And commissions change, and it's good. It's part of democracy. but this document should be considered just as a document of the people, not political. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And again, I think that my recommendations and my appointments to the Charter Review Commission can stand on their own merit. So that's what the law is, and that's what the resolution states. So I have no problem with that. You'd have to fill out a public speaker's card. I'm sorry that if you have it, that's fine. If it's on a separate topic, is it on this topic or another topic?
I don't see a problem with it.
We're just speaking on this particular topic, okay?
It's the same topic, yeah.
No, we're talking about the resolution for the, establishing the Charter Review Commission. So if you're going to speak to the Charter Review Commission, that's fine.
It's going to be the same topic, like, I just want to welcome the first Russian mayor for the Sunny Isles. I represent unity. I'm here to represent. I have thousands and thousands and thousands of people behind my back. A lot of people couldn't come today because it's a working day, but a lot of people just wanted to tell huge welcome to Larissa, not only from Miami, but from the whole country. And, they all excited.
Miss, your name?
And everybody looking forward.
What is your name? I'm sorry, your name and your address?
My name is Olga Slivniak. I represent the community. I'm the
What is your address, please?
What
is your address?
I live in the Aquilina Estates. I don't know the address because I just moved in here. What's my address? Just look at it. I lived at Ocean Force, so 1701, but I just moved like a month ago to the new building, but I lived in the United States for 40 years, but it's a new address for me. But we welcome her. We watched her for a long time. We've been helping her for a long time. She helped me years ago when she wasn't a mayor. We talked to her. We know her for a long time when she wasn't a mayor for years. She's been very supportive in a lot of topics. We're very excited and we're looking forward for the years to come. Thank you so much for supporting. We're looking forward to work with all commissioners. We're planning a lot of events, and actually it's a huge schedule, so be ready to work with us, and we're very excited. Thank you so much.
Okay, we have the resolution to establish the Charter Review Commission. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion approved. Commissioner Joseph, do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Stuyvesant, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, item number 10G.
10G is a resolution accepting the results of the general runoff election held on Tuesday, December 6th, 2022, declaring Larissa Svetchin to be elected as mayor. Self-explanatory, Mayor and Commissioners, accepting the results. I'd just like to clarify one thing that's on the resolution. It is incorrectly listing I'm sorry, let me just pull it up really quickly. The total number of votes cast for each candidate. The resolution listed it as 3,320, but it's actually 3,318. Yes, but just for the record, just to clear it up.
Okay. We have a public speaker for 10G. Do you want to speak or no?
What was the name?
Capra?
I think this is appropriate after that last vote, so I'm just going to read my comment. Dana, my first experience knowing you created a belief that the little man with the mouth, your husband, Michael Gates, forced the evil from you. In part, that was true, but you proved to be far worse. Your $20 million lawsuit of lies exposed you and you paid the price for your evil act in more ways than money. You're lost today.
Greg, this is
in part
totally,
started
this
there.
is so inappropriate.
It's appropriate,
It's
believe
not
me.
appropriate, and I will ask you.
It took years to
beyond the
expose you
decorum.
for those that
I'm sorry,
supported
but
you
you're
most.
gonna.
Eventually, you showed your true self to them,
Not
and they showed you.
appropriate. This
Some
is
of those
totally
included
not
past mayors,
appropriate.
vice mayors, commissioners, and police chiefs.
It's not appropriate.
It's
Okay, then you declare him out of order.
You're out of
You
order.
ask him
Your
to
power
stop.
play against
Stop.
And if he
Mayor
doesn't,
Stop.
if
If
he
you
doesn't
don't, you'll
stop,
be escorted out
you
of the
can
room.
ask him out.
Please leave the
Your
room.
underhanded
Please.
campaigns of
I'm
attacks
sorry.
and outright
Please
lies,
leave the room.
bringing
Please
spoiler
leave.
candidates
Please,
like
can we
Joseph
have
Stuyvesant
the police? Can we?
and others
Can
to be your
wait,
puppets,
Luke.
like
Let's have
Anita,
him. We're going to
Fisher,
have
and
you
Jovanovich.
escorted out of the room.
Your
We're
vendettas
going to
against
have
city
to you
employees that
escorted
you
out of
forced
the
out
room.
as taxpayers.
Get him out of the room.
We can't.
Have to be appropriate.
Mayor, can you have a motion?
What? Okay, we could, what?
A motion? Motion?
Call for order. Can't do it.
I'm sorry, this is
Yeah,
not,
he
this
can
is,
stay. I just.
this is
we
so
just-
not appropriate, this type of behavior. It's really not appropriate. This is not,
Mayor, motion.
I don't, this is meant to harass, this is not on topic. I mean, what is the purpose of this? Just to harass me?
Yes.
Guys, we do not need him to speak. Why not? Because we don't need. Let's unite everybody. Let us celebrate, okay? Let the Sanyas be beautiful, you know? Why do we need all that? Let's relax. Everybody relax, you know? We need the holiday. It's a beautiful thing. We don't need it, okay? Relax everybody.
Thank you, Miss Olga.
Let's be respectful to everybody, okay? Respect is important.
We have a time at the end of the commission meeting for open discussion. That would be the time for any speeches such as what we just had. And I'll leave it at that.
Let me read from the code. If any person making impertinent or slanderous remarks or becomes boisterous while addressing the commission shall be barred from further appearance before the commission by the presiding officer unless permission to continue or again address the commission is granted by the majority vote of the commission members present. In my opinion, that was slanderous. And it further says that no clapping, applauding, heckling, or verbal outbursts in support or opposition to a speaker or his or her remarks shall be permitted. Persons exiting the commission chambers shall do so quietly. But it's up to you whether you want to hear the rest of whatever time he had left. I don't know what that is.
So we can take a majority vote?
Yes.
Okay. I'll leave it to my colleagues to make the vote.
I vote no.
Jennifer?
No, I agree. I think that was inappropriate. And, I mean, and it's such a horrible way. I mean, this is a vote on an election result, and I mean, you're just really setting the wrong tone here. I don't think it's appropriate at all.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a supporter, and you don't agree.
Okay, all right, I don't,
It's the same basket.
so, can I see that card, his card?
This is for item 10G.
So it was 10G. So, yeah, obviously it was off topic, okay? And then going back to what the city attorney said, and the name calling, I think is very inappropriate. So I don't see the point in it. I think it's just name calling, and I don't see how that adds to anything if we're looking to move forward. So maybe you're stuck in the past, but I mean, we need to move forward. So name calling, is not my cup of tea, and I will not allow that, okay? No matter what the personal issues you have with that person, we're at a commission meeting, and we're here to discuss city business, not personal business. So let's keep it at that. Thank you.
And I'd like to also say, Greg, that you've already aired all of your, rhetoric against the mayor, the former mayor, on Facebook. Everyone has seen it. Everyone has seen it on Facebook. I think you've put out everything possibly that could be put out against the mayor. So anyone could go back and look at it. We don't have to hear it tonight. Thank you.
Mayor, may I speak?
No, you're not even, you're not even, you just walk up to the mic, you want to fill out a public speaker card? This is not
I'll fill it out, but you as a chair can allow me to speak a few minutes.
Okay.
So I just want to say that I was hoping that this would not happen. I definitely want the city to be united. I do not in any way support or condone anyone on this dais to be insulted in any way. Although I am a believer in free speech, it has a time and a place. And so this is certainly not how I expected this item to go down, because as Olga has indicated, we do want to just move on, because it's not about personalities, it's about the office of mayor, it's about the office of commissioner, and we need to respect that office no matter what we think of a person individually, because it changes, and that's the reality. So I hope that we can just get past this and get united and just move on, please. Thank you. Thank you for letting me speak.
So you are condemning your supporter, Greg Capra, with his behavior? Exactly.
I'm asking that we move on. I'm not condemning anyone. I'm not supporting anyone. I'm saying that we can
So
move
you are
on.
against what he did? No, I'm sorry. So you are against what he did?
I am not in any support of anyone being insulting.
No, specific. So your supporter, are you okay with what he was
Okay,
doing? Or against?
time out. I think, listen, at this point.
To negotiate. I am not looking to debate with anyone.
Hold on. At this point.
Thank you.
In the Facebook, he can tell you how many times I told him, do not get into aggression. Felix, how many times I told you, do not get into anything what personally goes to Larissa, to Donna. Let's go to only good stuff.
Thank you, Olga. I don't think this is the time or place to have this
So-
discussion.
But people who go into personal stuff always go to serious problems. And that's the story, and that's how it goes. So that's the story, like she can do anything about it, Donna can do anything about it. The serious supporters go personal.
It is-
And
Thank you,
that's
Ms.
not your
Olga.
problem, And that's not Donna's problem.
Yeah, let's keep it.
Let me
let's-
just say, it's very, very difficult to sit up there.
Yeah.
It's very challenging,
It's very
and it is especially hard when someone comes up against whatever it is you're voting on, or you personally, and I've had that happen to me. And it's not pleasant, and yes, Fabiola, I do not condone in any way anyone insulting anyone from here to this body, because I have the utmost respect for this body, and that is the reason that I ran, and I intend to maintain that promise. So that's why I'm just asking that we just move on, please. Thank you.
Okay, we have no other public.
Yes, we
Do
did.
have
We
an-
had
oh,
one
have-
more.
We have one more. Felix Kisner.
Wow. Let's make Sunny
Okay,
Isles Beach great
hold on,
again.
hold on,
Did
hold
we
on.
miss
Hold on.
the
I move
comments?
that you not be
Hold
allowed
on,
to speak,
hold
Felix.
on.
Guys, come
Everybody,
on.
please, time out. Let's get our heads straight. Please, let's get our heads straight. We're here to discuss city business. We're not here to heckle. We're not in high school, okay? So please, seriously, this is getting out of hand. Okay? That's it. Enough.
Thank you. My name is Felix Kisner. I live at 250 174th Street. Honorable Mayor, Honorable Vice Mayor, members of the commission. As Thomas Jefferson once said, the government you deserve is the government you elect, and vice versa. The government you elect is the government you deserve. Thank you for people that volunteered and voted, because that's what makes America great, people's participation. But it's done with respect, not with heckling, not with personal attack pointing fingers at the city commission. That's not what America is about. That's what Russia is about. That's what Venezuela is about, but not Sunny Isles Beach. And I don't think we should let anybody make a spectacle out of our city. We've been a very nice city up until today, and I don't understand what happened to it. I've been living here since year 2000. But I still thank everyone who volunteered, who was the poll watchers, who took their time, and again. Now, I have a question to the canvassing board. There was a question about district number 3. And that district, you had 2 machines where people voted. One machine was broken most of the time, and it had to be reset from what I understand. I know my relatives came to vote. One of them had 415 votes. That's why there was a lot more. One had 185 votes, if that's correct, the numbers that I have. The machine that didn't work most of the day, or part of the day, I guess, had no problem with transmission. The machine that did work well all the day had a problem with transmission. But in America today, we have great amount of safety factors to make sure the vote is proper. I'm sorry, this is not Ponciano Board of Directors. This is City Commission Board of Directors. So please give me the respect that I gave you when you spoke. So bottom line is, I know that there's safety factors. One of the things is the drive, which is in the machine, which was taken to the city because the transmission didn't take place on the machine that worked all day, which is specially coded. And number 2, there are other safety factors, such as physical count. Because the election is so close, did the canvassing board ever consider to physically
Can we
count
please
because
stop?
of the machine?
Can we just hear him out, please, respectfully, like we just went through, please?
Yeah, thank you. So bottom line is, was it ever considered to do a physical count, because it's only 600 votes, to make sure that the machine where people put in the votes and it spit it out, that there was no double counting or anything like that? Thank you. I'm done speaking, thank you.
Everyone, please observe the decorum, please. This is a little out of hand, okay? It's a little out of hand. It's a little out of hand, everybody. Okay.
Okay. So was it considered ever physically recounting? Thank you.
Okay, public speaker comments are done, and think do we have any comments about this item? Do we have any comments on this?
Mayor, Commissioners.
For me, I have some concerns about, but I'm willing to, hear from my colleagues.
From beginning to the end.
Go ahead, Commissioner Lama, Commissioner Joseph, does anyone have any comments on this item, or are we going to just take a motion?
Well, are you going to answer some of the questions? Or the canvassing board?
No, we don't
No?
we don't answer any of those questions, no.
The canvassing board has basically certified, and this is a ministerial vote, essentially.
Let's then put it up for a vote.
Okay?
We need
So
a motion.
are you making a motion?
No?
Okay, hold on. Let's discuss this a little bit.
Sure.
All right. So obviously, there's some questions here, okay? We could discuss it. Are you going to discuss it with me? Both of you are in the canvassing board. So tell me a little bit. I know there was a 20-vote difference. I want to understand why it did not go to a recount, okay? Why did it not trigger a recount?
Because
I just want to understand. I want to understand
percentage was
for the,
above 0.25.
for the sake of the public, okay? Because what?
The percentage was 0.06.
I know it did not trigger, but I want people to listen to it because Felix posed some questions, and I just want to be able to air this out. Okay, I understand it, but I just want the public to understand
Sure.
this a little bit.
Under state law, a machine recount is only run in the event that the margin is more than 1/2 of 1%.
0.5.
Correct. This was 0.6.
Mhm.
So there's no recount under the machines. And what they do is they just run the ballots back through the machines. You never get to a manual recount unless the difference after that is 0.25%. So we never got to 0.25%, and that's why there's no recount. Now, I will tell you that I participated in the canvassing board meeting last Friday, and at the end of the day, what happens is that the supervisors of election staff do what they call an audit, a precinct audit. And what they do is they take all 4 precincts here, put them on little stickers.
Five.
Five precincts. They put them in a bowl. Somebody picks out a number, and that's the number of the precinct. They bring out all of the ballots, both the day of the vote ballots and previously received ballots, and they do a manual recount. And when they did that, the numbers were exactly matching
Yes.
what the results were.
And I happen to have asked the question whether there has ever been a change, and they answered no.
So only one precinct was audited?
Yeah,
Okay.
according to state law, right.
What precinct was that?
It was
The church.
2.
It was the church.
Which was the church,
2.
correct.
But it was totally random. You know, it was 1 out of 5, and they pulled it out of a fishbowl. So
And is there any validity to some of the question marks, rumors that we hear about precinct 3?
I don't know. I don't have any knowledge of any of those
It's moved
events.
because they
But
randomly selected
the
District 2.
supervisor's office and canvassing board have now certified those results, and all you're doing is accepting them.
Okay.
And if someone has,
Because I want the public to understand,
If-
and I want people to learn, No, but I know, but
Not
There
everybody.
is
not
no
everybody
reason to
does.
get
So there's a
wound
lot of
up
rumors out
because
there
this
and
is
all
being
that,
the way
and
you
there's
want it
been,
to be.
yeah.
So
So I think information is key, and knowledge is key, so I'm asking, well, I didn't know you had corporate attorneys, I have no idea, I don't know what you're talking, yeah, not, okay, I just want, to understand and get this, okay, so, how do you know? Are you sure? No, but I just wanted to repeat. Well, no, yeah.
Okay.
No, fair enough, but I think it's always good to impart information and knowledge, so, it's not done in a malicious way. It's just done in a way to understand, for people to understand and be informed, okay? So, yeah.
Are we
Yeah.
done?
Yeah, anybody have any comments?
Yes,
or
I
anything?
mean, obviously, there's some concerns raised about the number of ballots and so forth, but this is purely a ministerial vote to ratify what are, the results of the canvassing board.
But
So-
another authority has already determined.
Okay.
Correct. So,
And I think in the spirit of following the rules, because I think that's, I'm sorry, but I don't think we've ever had booing and this is such a poor tone to this transition, right? We have somebody who
And it's unnecessary as well, I have to say.
so, and the rules apply to you guys, they apply to us as well. So we have to take a vote, and we will, it says you shall do it, and so we'll do it. And so I'll make my motion in a moment. But I would ask in the future, it really doesn't help, the booing and the screaming and from your seats. It's not helpful. It's not helpful. If you want to express your support and your excitement, do it in an appropriate way. Screaming from your chairs is not an appropriate way. So please, in the future, if you just hold it or call somebody on the phone outside. Or go vent somewhere else, just not from your seats. Okay, and with that, I would make a motion.
Does you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There you go. And that's how we follow the rules.
Okay, we're on discussion items.
No, Mayor, we have the
No
three add-on
discussion,
items.
No citizens forum, item 13.
No, we have the three add-ons,
Yes.
10H. 10A, the add-on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 10H is a resolution approving a third amendment to the agreement with Granicus to provide website redesign services, agenda management, and webcasting services. I'll start this off, Mayor, even though it's listed as the interim media manager reporting. So Granicus is the company that we use to manage our agenda and publishing it on the website.
Mauricio, could you just
Take
wait
care,
like
Lenny.
30 seconds, please?
Ugh, they're so disgusting, those two. Capra and Leon. Ugh. So egregious. Good.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're good. Please, thank you.
Okay, so Granicus is the provider that we use to manage our agendas and publish it on the city's website. So in light of the fact that we use them already for numerous services, the media department decided to also contract them for redesigning the website, and I'll turn that over to Leah so that she can mention.
Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commission, we wish to partner with Granicus to build a brand-new, user-friendly, secure, ADA-compliant, and modern website. After much research and demos with other vendors, We found Granicus to be the most suitable for our needs and a leading provider in the government sector. We will be piggybacking the NCPA, which is the National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance contract, and also Peyton Owen is a representative from Granicus and is here tonight in case you have any questions.
Well then, if I could just say one thing, congratulations to Leah. She's no longer the interim media manager. As of Monday, she'll be our media manager.
Yay!
A motion.
Motion to approve.
So, do I have a motion?
Yes.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
I'd like to see some mocks of the new website eventually.
Okay.
So that'll be cool. I'm waiting. Yeah.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay.
So excited, by the way, to be able to come to this city and see how beautiful it is and the residents. We're super excited to be able to work with you guys on this new project, and part of our project experience, we'll be sharing a bunch of different design phases, getting the feedback from both the public and the staff members on how you want to create that digital curb appeal.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 10J.
10I, Mayor. 10I is a resolution authorizing the city manager or designee to purchase necessary janitorial and sanitation supplies and equipment from Imperial Date for fiscal year 2022-2023.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Public Works Department is seeking for the approval of a blanket purchase order with Imperial Date for the city's in-house janitorial for sanitation supplies, equipment, and related services for this fiscal year 22-23 in an amount not to exceed $100,000.
A lot of janitorial goods.
Okay. Thank you.
Motion.
Motion, so moved. Anyone? Second. Who's got the first?
Vice Mayor Viscara.
Viscara.
I won.
Okay. Second, Lama? Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's getting late. Get out here quick. Okay. Item 10J.
10J is a resolution urging members of the Florida Legislature to support the 2023 Florida League of Cities legislative platform.
Yeah, so this is, nothing new, and in fact, Commissioner Lama, I don't know if you wanted to co-sponsor this one or not, given that you are FLC rep. I just jumped on it when it came through my email before I forgot to make it an add-on. But basically, this is, just to give us an outline provided by the Florida League of Cities in terms of the kinds of things that we're going to support legislatively. This includes a lot of it is based around home rule, which is cities legislation that supports us keeping our power. 3 of the points are like around different aspects of short-term rentals. Workforce housing is one of the things which we heard in the presentation today about the condos. What else? Traditional and alternative modes of transportation. But basically, it's all the preservation of municipal authority and supporting that type of legislation. So I don't know, Commissioner Lama, if you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me to be a co-sponsor.
Sure.
This is great. Obviously, we know the importance of, advocating, with the Miami-Dade County League of Cities and at the state level with the Florida League of Cities. And there's many issues that, we need to keep advocating, protecting home rule and other issues that affect municipalities. So, yeah, this is great idea. And, kudos for this.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So,
Okay.
anything else?
Motion? So moved. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're on to discussion.
Yep.
Citizens Forum.
Citizens
Okay.
Forum.
Any speakers?
Nina Michello.
If she's here still.
Somebody here from Nina Michello?
I am.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. Maybe it's almost night. Yes, and my name is Nina Mikhailova. And in June,
Sorry, where do you live, please? Your address?
okay, my address it is 250 174th Street, Unit 1208, Sunny Isles Beach. Yes, I arrived to this apartment in June 2027, and my realtor was Mr. Piselyov, who is also the president of the association. Immediately, I was notified of the need to pay a special assessment in the amount of almost 30,000. And in our balance, it was so bad. Numbers about they showed losses cost 400,000, yes, and it is many ununderstandable number when I will need to pay with this in this situation. In August, the president announced that the building had not passed the 50-year certification and was in disrepair. I bought very expensive apartment. I need to pay a special assessment. I need to pay many money for losses, for balance, and I bought apartment in emergency situation. Emergency, yes. And in violence of our bylaws, board members do not report at meeting. After approving the 13 million contribution, the board does not show monthly report even on the WhatsApp. From September, I asked them, please please report us. They did not report. Only it was at 9, at 8, it was December, it was the meeting, and only after the meeting they showed at the website report from August, from September, and now more. And we got so terrible. They showed only our. I'm sorry. I'm so worried. Yes. To pay so many for only for 1 month, it is our debt was for 1 million more, and this is okay. I'm sorry. Thank you. And I only vote. This is a result of voting. Of course, show this is. I'm sorry, but this is Mr. Piselyov. He was awarded for honorary person of the Sunny Isles Beach. How it can be? Everybody knew in Syria it is. Really, building is ununderstandable for what? It's in emergency. Okay, this is and another. However, the main problem is the threat that more than 400 families live in the building that is in the disrepair. They may lose their home and they stay on the street. The complaint we filed with DBPR was accepted for consideration only for third time, and now it is half a year we cannot get letter answer from them. However, the most ununderstandable fact for us is that Mr. Piselyov was awarded the title of honorary citizen of the Sunny Isles. City Hall new.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your comments.
Okay.
No, hi. I just like to ask you. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I just like, was the new mayor aware that you were going to speak tonight? Because she should be here to hear your complaint. I'm surprised she left.
No. Have you, ma'am?
I arrived here, can I talk?
Ma'am, I'll tell you one thing. So we as a city don't have jurisdiction over some of the items you said, like, assessments and some issues with your association and the association president. You mentioned that you filed a complaint against the DVPR. Do you know Spencer Hennings? He's our rep for the DVPR. So he's the ombudsman, and we could.
We know they copy.
So they are, okay.
We're aware. There's a personal dispute because the Winston Towers 100 levied a large special assessment.
I understand that, yeah.
For structural and other repairs, and so there's a group of owners in the Winston 100 who's very upset about a special assessment and wants to use this forum as an opportunity to discuss it, including the president.
Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have jurisdiction on the assessments they can levy.
We are aware of the complaint, and we are aware of the special assessment, and we are aware of the circumstances. So I know there are a couple of other people that would like to speak, including Michael Pukovich, who seems to be the leader of this effort. So perhaps he wants to use his 3 minutes to discuss the special assessment as well. But we are well aware of this. Again, I would like to echo Commissioner Lama's sentiment, which is every building in Winston Towers right now and every building throughout the city is not only contemplating a multi-million-dollar special assessment, but is in the middle of it, or will have one due to not only recertification requirements, but also 40-year, 50-year recertification and the new milestone inspection requirements that are mandated by 4D, the state law. So we are, even though I know it's acute and it's concerning for the Winston Towers 100, please bear in mind that there are buildings throughout this city that where people, in fact, there's another building in this city where each unit owner is now paying $70,000 or $80,000 a unit, just per unit for one special assessment. So while it may not be comforting to you, you're not alone, because a lot of buildings are facing this very issue of a special assessment.
I did not talk about our assessment. I only talked about we are upset about that people or person who made this so bad situation for more than 1,000 people, and they were awarded for honorary citizen of city. How it can be? Okay. And of course, this is city. They knew. They destroyed our building, and he got this very, very honorary name. How it can be?
I appreciate your comments, but the idea that he destroyed the building, I think is, I'm not sure that that's something that we can really opine on or really, have a discussion about. But I thank you for your comments. Michael Pukovich, would you like to speak? You have 3 minutes.
Hello, Michael.
Hi, guys. Thank you very much for letting me talking to you. Good evening. My name is Michael Pukovich. I'm owner of apartment in address 250, 174th Street. My apartment 1204, Sunny Island Beach. I am resident of this building from 2012, and since now, situation in the building has gotten worse and worse. For the last 3 years, association collected for special assessment $14 million. I know, you know this, okay? We start asking Mr. Pisilov, he is president of board, for 12 years that he should provide financial transparency of all the work in the building. No answer. He sent letter to the office in December 2021 with 51 owners signed with the same question after we sent this letter to DPPR. All these people, taxpayers for Sunny Island Beach. Mr. Piselyov decided suing me and two more people for defamation instead of giving the answer and explanation. I have been contacted to Mr. Jerry, Joseph, and Dana Goldman, and they not help us all. I am suffering emotional and financial for 11 months. Association wasting money for our building to sue me and the neighbors, and they make pain, emotional distress, intimidation other people who live in the Winston Towers 100. It is our building is not. It have a lot of old people inside live. It is different situation, and I think you have to know everybody why we coming to you, ask about help. I am asking Larissa Svechinavu, new elected mayor, to help us stop this nonsense.
So
And
where is she? Is she here?
Okay, I will give to her. She will come in.
Maybe she'll watch it on television.
Maybe.
And how would you expect her to help stop the nonsense?
I don't know. You have to. You probably know.
You asked. You said.
Maybe
how-
have to. Maybe.
Help help her stop the nonsense. What nonsense are you referring to? The lawsuit or
Yes.
how is she?
Why
gonna
you
stop
have
the
to?
lawsuit?
Why you have to?
How
Have
is
to
she
start
gonna
it lawsuit to people, to neighbors,
Yeah, but you're
when you
asking
have to
her
discuss with this guy.
You're asking her to stop a lawsuit between you and the association?
Yes, because the association is not only me. It's a lot of people understood. Mr. What is there? One second.
Do you really think that she can stop the nonsense? That she'll stop the lawsuit between you and the association?
No, I not think this.
You said I'm asking her
No.
to stop the nonsense.
Nonsense, of course. Have to work with these people. Maybe have to involve in election. Election is not correct. Have a lot of issues in this election. If we cannot change it, this board.
Michael,
Yes.
you stated that I did
Yes.
not look to assist you. Is that true, or did I try to help you to mediate your situation?
I cannot tell you to mediate the situation. You tried, but you couldn't.
Correct.
So,
Okay.
so, so
She
did I.
also tried, but they couldn't. But
So
Okay.
how is Larissa gonna do what a commissioner and a mayor couldn't do?
I don't know why you.
It was
It's
not.
like you want her to stop
We
the
we have last conversation with you, Jerry, Norman, and me.
Correct.
Okay.
But again,
And you lie in front of three of us. You not stop at him. He told two, three of us.
But the point
He
is,
never used credit card.
Michael, you
After
can't,
I use
an
it.
official, a public official cannot stop the nonsense. This is a dispute between you and the association. So while it's great to use this
Winston
as a
Towers is a
forum,
private building.
this is not something that a public official can just put some fairy dust over and
We can
and
only
make it go
intercede out of
away.
courtesy.
So, I mean, you're welcome to ask anybody to stop the nonsense, but in some ways, you have to, this is a private matter.
Yeah, I know, I understand this, but I come in here, only my reason is you have to pay attention to this building. Building has a lot of old people, old and sick people. You was in our building few times. You have to explain to people in building, to Norman in front, what he doing, how he have to be peaceful. We come in here, make peace between you, commissioner, new mayor, between everybody. But
Michael,
you have to go to building and speak to, when you come into building.
You said there have
spoke-
been,
Huh?
sorry, you said there have been 4 assessments. Have there been repairs to the building at all? Any
No.
repairs?
No,
0 repairs?
no, only demolition.
Zero-
They started demolition for 6 months.
There have been 0 repairs with 4 assessments? Is that true? 0 repairs. So, okay.
For to repair the swimming pool
Okay, so these assessments are over how many years? How many years, the 4 assessments? These 4 assessments are over how many years? 3 years. So in 3 years, there hasn't been any repairs done? No.
Can you speak to the microphone so we're not speaking from the seats, please? Name and address.
Hello, my name is Ina Guseva, and I'm living in Winston Towers 100, apartment 1202. So yes, I'm living there more than 3 years, and for these 3 years, they collected 4 assessments, but they always collect for the same problems. It's swimming pool, it's elevator, and this is the roof. So every time they're collecting these assessments, but that means that the job is not done, right? Why?
And how old is your building?
It's 50 years.
50 years. And have the elevators ever been replaced?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Never.
Not yet.
So these are the original elevators?
Original elevators.
Okay. So then the county needs to look at the elevators, because I believe that these elevators are out of service, should be replaced.
Well, a couple of elevators are out of service about 3 years
that's a
already.
county
One second.
issue.
Miss
there is
Ina,
not-
Ina, right? I'm
Ina,
sorry.
yeah.
Mr. Michael, my suggestion will be to contact the district attorney's office. They've been looking into HOAs and opening investigation and reviews. If they are collecting the money and they are not doing the job that they have to be doing, then there is a potential
If that's the case, it needs to be
corruption.
under
So
review.
it will be good to contact the district attorney's office. I'm going to give you my information so we can check information. Maybe if I can do
And
any
you
help
have
to
my
put you in
card here
contact.
as well.
One second, Jerry, please. If I can put you in contact with them, they serve as a conduit. I'm going to try. Okay, so
Okay.
I think
But
you know.
but.
I never heard about this issue before.
To
Yeah.
your point, they have filed you have filed multiple claims with the ombudsman, with the attorney general. You have made numerous filings, correct? You have made filings,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
So it's not
We
like,
do have an
come to me
attorney,
and I'll help you.
but
with
when
this.
attorney comes to the office, they're not given any documentation, any
By
information
law.
But
to
you know
him.
by law, they're required to provide you with official records.
Exactly.
Within 10 days, or a willful violation.
Yes.
Is something, so.
Precisely, yeah.
I'm not sure, again, I haven't evaluated, I don't know, but in my humble opinion, under state law, they're required to furnish the documents. And if I had to guess, you have received some documentation.
They're actually supposed to have a website with all the information
Yes, that's
right
true.
now.
So everything,
No website information.
There's
so
what?
they're required to have a
No
website.
statement of credit card, no statement of our bank.
Statement of credit card?
Those are official records. They have to give it to you by
No,
law.
they're not giving it to us.
Yeah, well, they have to by
Contracts,
law. Yeah.
financial reports should be on that website by law.
They
By
carry
law.
to company without picking.
So,
Cleaning company and what, the security company, no picking.
so just so you know, the state regulates condos,
You have immediate
the DBPR.
recourse because the DBPR has original jurisdiction over official records requests. So if for any reason you're requesting a specific official record and you file it and you give a certified letter and you give two, you should be able to get those records. So again, I don't know the particulars, but I know you have an absolute right for access to records, right? But the gravamen of your complaint, of the complaint against you for defamation, has nothing to do with the official records, correct?
No, that's different.
But again, that's something completely
It is
separate.
harassment.
Whatever it is, whatever it is.
Yeah, it is.
But whatever it is, it's a separate matter. Your access as a unit owner to records is an absolute right. And it is completely within your right to get those records, and if you don't, within 10 days of request, you have
You know it.
recourse.
But
And
don't
you're
just
aware
start
of
with-
that.
Yeah.
And
You
I'm
know
sure
it.
you filed,
Yes.
But
with
what?
the DBPR for those records, correct?
Dana, you know what? When is lawyer coming to our office, represent one woman, she lives in Canada, nice woman, they don't let him come in office. Norman tell to people, because you let him, don't let. Yes,
Because I what?
You tell to him, don't let him come in the office.
I said, don't let you come in the
It is
office?
he told to people. He's coming to me. A lawyer,
I'm
nobody
sorry.
Mayor.
let lawyer come in.
Yeah.
office.
Mayor, I'm sorry, this is a civil matter. This is a civil matter that doesn't, we don't have any jurisdiction. We need to move on to the next person.
Why he don't let him come in office?
Listen,
Let me enjoy it.
Okay.
I'm older, the one who doesn't know what your address is. You already know. Listen, I don't remember my address, but you know. Listen, guys, I think that I work with her. I'm her consultant, so she works in home care agency, and I consult her because I have huge experience. I work with a lot of people who live in this building. I'm consulting, I'm volunteering. A lot of these people don't know what they're doing. They don't understand what they're doing. People take advantage of them. They don't speak very good English. I think that this Norm, whoever he is, was taking advantage of them for years. She said, he said, it should end. You guys should hire an attorney. Donna said, he said, she said, that should stop. You need to get a legal, because what you're saying right now, I'm very sorry, that nonsense. That's just a kindergarten level. I cannot even listen to that. What does Donna has to do with what's going on in your
Ma'am, can you all have the discussion outside? Can you all, thank you. We need to move on. But it's a civil matter.
It seems to me, you want to pull the city into this drama.
Yeah, city has
And
nothing
we're
to do
not
with
really
that, right?
involved.
We have no
in this.
jurisdiction. It's the state.
Michael.
You need to
Exactly,
get an attorney and, yeah.
Michael, What
Hold
this
on.
lady is saying to you is what I've been saying to you.
Yeah, they have nothing to do
So-
with that, absolutely. And yes, a lot of seniors, because when they have health problems, they do complain that what's happening in 100 building is something I would never imagine would happen in United States of America.
Well, it happens all along 174th. I live in the 300, and we've gone through the same
Every
issues.
building has
And
special assessments.
in Florida-
Every building has concerns
Yeah.
about records, but there's,
Michael, call me tomorrow.
but there's.
No, we're
Call me
not, we have no
tomorrow.
jurisdiction over
Call me
HOAs or condos. That's the state. Yeah,
Yeah,
and you
but
need to get an
it has
attorney.
nothing to do with that.
That's
No,
correct, nothing.
That's correct.
Okay, so
I'd like to add
yeah.
something, though. I'd like to add something, is that I'm in conversations with the county, okay? And the county does have a special program that they're starting where they'll give you a loan so people could pay for their special assessments, okay? I'm gathering the information, so once I gather all the information, I'll make sure our media department that we post it and we spread the information, okay?
But for me, it seems like that's not about special assessment.
Okay, but.
No, well, the other lady
Please.
talked about special
But-
assessments and,
But it is about a special assessment, because
But
this
it
way,
seems like it's
Yeah.
a fraud
But
that somebody
this-
takes it and puts it in.
No.
no, but I'm adding, yeah.
all started because the building levied a multi-million-dollar special assessment, and that's when the whole thing devolved in that building.
course.
It completely relates, because if there weren't this $14 million or $12 million special assessment, nobody would be upset in that building, and it all stems from that special assessment. And so their questions or allegations are, where's the money going? Where's the money being spent? Nothing's getting done. We don't have access. We don't have transparency. It's all about the special assessment. But again, every building is going through this in the city, or is going to be going through this. And now it's gotten very personal.
The problem is when you have years with no assessments and then you have to repair the building, that's where the problem
Can we move
comes
on,
in.
please?
So we've given a lot of time, and we've had a lot of discussion, and, we want to be empathic here, but this is really something that is a private matter amongst you
Of course.
and your board of directors. And I think you know that the city officials and the city
Мы с вами
government
поговорим.
can't.
Минуточку, у вас будет новый board of director.
We can't solve that, we
No.
can't solve that problem, we can only serve as a resource. If you have something, then of course, you take it to this agency or that agency or redress, but this is not, we can't fix the
course not.
special assessment issue or any individual lawsuits that are happening. We can't.
I just want to say a word because I have to leave. My husband is going to kill me. I want to thank you, Dana, for being a great mayor. We enjoyed it the last 4 years. Everything was great. And thank you, everybody. So we enjoy
Thank you.
looking forward to be around. For
Appreciate it.
the
Thank you
next
very
years.
much.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
And
Thank you
I don't
too,
know
but,
who the guy was he, whoever he was, apologies for whoever he was.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that
Michael,
Nina Nimikolov
call me
and
tomorrow.
Michael Kukovic, and then we have Olga Slivnia.
Who just left?
She
That's
just
Olga?
spoke, yeah.
Yeah.
Olga, and then
Yes.
Vera Consuegra is the
Vera.
last one. With Vera Consuegra.
No? Okay, thank
And
you.
we have George, we have Pavel. Pavel, you've been so, Pavel, you're speaking?
No, he
You're done?
removed it. Sorry about that, Mayor.
And then I have George Bardmesser.
George, okay. Welcome back, George.
Thank you. It's good to be back, members of the commission, Mayor Goldman. I'd like to speak from the heart to one issue that has been bothering me for the last couple of months. Things have gotten a little stale, it feels, on this commission.
Stale?
Members of the commission have an ethical obligation to be independent. What we saw in this election is that essentially you're all marionettes of Mayor Goldman. You
Really?
campaigned for her actively. I got spammed by Jennifer Viscaro daily almost, it seems, with emails supporting Dana Goldman. I witnessed myself, Viola, my good friend Jerry with his Trump tie, campaigning for Mayor Goldman right next to the election location.
Does that make us puppets, though?
Please,
No,
let
not
him
that
finish.
alone, but,
Let him finish.
Jerry, for the record, I've told you, a lot of people feel negatively about you. I'm not one of them. I'm neutral about you. Just clear. My point is I have a solution. The solution is a recall. What we need is a recall for all the commissioners. I volunteered to work with the city attorney. We only actually need 1,200 signatures. I can collect 100 at Starbucks in the morning in 2 days, I promise you. So I think what we need is a recall. We need some fresh blood. We need some new ideas here. Too many people, it feels like, have kind of grown into their chairs, so to speak, to translate from Russian. And the solution is a recall. There's an alternative. If every member of the commission resigns, we can skip the recall, and we can just have an election. So out of the goodness of my heart, I'm offering this idea to everyone here, and I hope you will consider it and vote on it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, George, thank you. Listen,
you,
George, I never met you before, so I don't understand how you could tell me basically to resign if you don't know me, we haven't talked. And I
I'd be
invite
happy
you
to
to
talk.
come and talk to me,
I'd
we
be
can have a
happy to.
meeting, so you could have a better opinion of the work we've done here, and speaking from the heart, to be honest with you, I think that this year that we've been here sitting at the dais with Mayor Goldman, we've kind of unlocked that stale feeling that you have. So that's why we've been able to hire 10 new police officers, dispatchers. We've been talking about changing the traffic signals. If you could see, there's been changes, positive changes. So
Changes
I don't
to our
understand,
park system.
hold on, Jerry, I'm speaking, okay? We've had committees where we get.
You're out of time.
Out
No.
of time. Hey, I'm a commissioner, I get 10 minutes. So we've had committees where we are outreaching, we're doing more outreach to the residents. Our vice mayor was able to form, which before, for some reason, it was very stale, and it could not happen. She was able to do the Residents Academy, okay, which whoever attended that can tell you they're very grateful. I've been able to form the senior roundtable. So there's been a lot of changes that transpired in the last, let's say, less than a year, to be honest with you. So I don't know where you get that word stale from. I think that's what happened before, okay? And that's why I invite you to sit with me, and maybe you could see the other side of the story, okay? There's always three sides, right? There's, you know?
Perhaps.
I can
We
offer-
live
So
in
anyhow,
polarized
so I
times,
offer you
obviously.
to sit with me, and we could talk, so you could have a better idea, a more complete idea of what has transpired and what's going on. Because this is, to be honest with you, this is the first time I see you here at the commission meeting. I haven't
That
seen
is
you
true.
before.
This is the first time
okay?
I've come here.
So yeah, maybe if you come more often, you could understand better, and then we could meet. And have you met with any of the commissioners or with Dana Goldman before?
Fabiola,
One-on-one?
in fact, filmed me or videoed me when I at the voting at the precinct. So she has a video of me.
No, but you haven't had a one-on-one conversation talking about subjects and topics
No, she
related
was very
to the city,
hostile.
right?
So no.
Sign
she
up
was-
for
she
the
was very
academy.
hostile,
Sign
so
up for the
no.
academy, okay? So, yeah, I mean,
It's a
let's-
pleasure, Mayor.
Let's talk
Mayor
from the
Goldman.
heart, and let's be truthful to ourselves. So let's
I
meet,
mean, but
okay?
to come here
Yeah.
when you haven't met any of us, to just say, I think everybody should be recalled, I mean,
I'm a citizen, and I pay your
Yeah,
salaries,
okay.
among many others. So
And as
why should I
a-
not have an opinion about
Oh, you can have an
the
opinion.
staleness of
No,
this?
I disagree with your
If I can have
comment, yeah. Go ahead.
1 second.
Yeah.
It occurs to me that many of the people who ran for office and got elected did so under false pretenses. I'm a Republican. Many of the people pretend to be Republicans or give an impression that somehow they share my values when in fact it is not the case. Mayor Goldman, again, with all due respect, I see you as a liberal Democrat, probably to the left of Joe Biden, probably somewhere around where.
that's because, number one, you don't know me, you've never met me, and number two, this is not a partisan forum, and this is not a partisan race. And
True.
should be absolutely no discussion of party affiliation. It has no relevance to city matters and government matters.
I disagree,
And as
but
a-
fine.
Okay, one second.
It's not, it's absolutely, it's just totally off topic.
And as a clarification about the
Well, the
elections,
topic is a recall.
this
Hold on.
February, Jerry Joseph and I, myself, this year, we got elected by the people. And in November, Alex Lama and Jennifer Vizcarra got elected by the people. So we had the 4 commissioners that got elected by the people this year. So talking about fresh blood, I think you need to get a little bit more informed. And about the
No,
video,
we're-
about the video, the day of the elections, I only started recording when you were being very aggressive and disrespectful and using very bad behavior
Actually, I didn't know who you were at the
and
time.
language that I'm not going to repeat here because I'm a lady.
It's okay, you
And
can
that was the
repeat.
reason. Okay.
But in any case,
Okay, I
me
think
and
that we
Fabiola
need to make a motion to
are
adjourn.
acquainted. She has a
Hold on.
video of me. I don't know if she watches it or not, but she has a
Okay,
video.
thank you for
Uh,
your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Before we make the motion to adjourn, thank you for your time. Before we make the motion to adjourn, I just wanted to make a couple of comments that Alex Lama started. Mayor Goldman, thank you for truly what I believe is a transformative year for this commission. We haven't always agreed, and yet we were able to come together around your policies, and I'm very proud of the changes that we've made. And I think the city is better off. I think personnel is better off. Our police department is certainly better off. We have a new chief. We have a new mayor. We have we're just better than we've been since I got here 4 years ago, and probably since before that. But I can't speak for that. So
And not only that, but I hear from
give me
many
one second,
residents as well.
please, Jerry. So I just wanted to tell you that it's been an amazing year, and it's something you should be very proud of, regardless of what the noise says. I have no intention of resigning, by the way, for those of you in the, wondering.
Yes.
And Ed, you are, I know. And so Ed, this is your last meeting. You're
Yes.
ready for retirement. So congratulations on your retirement, and thank you so much for working with us.
Thank you, Ed.
And I'll make a motion unless somebody else has something to say.
I would like to say also that the mayor and myself, we started off the year a little rough around the edges, but I'm happy for how she progressed with her plans for the city with the underpark and all, and I hope to move that forward. And I thank you.
Thank you, it's been an honor.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you too, Mayor Goldman. And obviously, I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Been a Republican since 1989. I haven't switched, so, I don't do
Ever.
that. Ever. But anyhow, no, it's been great, some of the changes we've been able to make. Thank you, Stan, for the reports. We never got
Oh,
reports.
yes.
Information was something of a taboo here before, so, that was a big change, the transparency. And, the flow of information is key. I think that the more informed you are, the better decisions you can make. And you can make the right decisions. And then just moving forward with some of the things we were able to accomplish. So it's great, a lot of things. Hopefully we'll be able to move forward and continue some of those ideas that you had and that we discussed before. So thank you very much. Yeah,
Yes.
we owe you a lot.
Yes. I just want to say as well, thank you. Thank you for trusting in me and appointing me last year. It's been an honor, a pleasure, a learning experience that is not going to end. And I look forward for continuous guidance about the future. And I think we are going to miss you. So having said that, I just want to give you
Yes,
an
and
applause for this.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
I'd just like to say that I'm proud to be a part of this commission and everyone who composes it. Yes.
We already adjourned.
Thank you. Have a good night.